How Bizarre is intended for mature, open-minded audiences only. If you are easily offended, we suggest you turn this wacky shit straight off.
I know I keep going on and on about TikTok, and this makes me seem like Old Man Evans has discovered the future. TikTok's relatively new, but I got updates. Updates, y'all.
Oh my. Okay, all right.
More like
tell me more about the titties. Tell me more about the titties.
Here we go. More like I suppose updated observations, I suppose. But well, first of all, I am now seeing a much more eclectic mix of shit showing up in my feeds. They are still trying to sell me on.
You're a little more cognizant of what you're staring at for how long, aren't you?
I'm timing it. I've discovered that there's a 32-second window. I can get away with all. They are still trying to sell me on watching some girl sit in a fucking inflatable hot tub, basically doing nothing.
I'm listening. What are we on this podcast for? We've got the shit we could be doing.
Well, on Twitch.
Yeah, a lot of these have, a lot of these will say hop over to this place or that place where they can do a little bit more. I think TikTok seems to be pretty strict, so they're limited. But the funny thing is, I mean, at least this girl was half naked. She wasn't doing anything, but she was half naked. I see so many of these kinds of feeds that are literally just women sitting there saying and doing nothing. They can't even be bothered to interact. They're not commenting. They're not posting anything. They're not washing the dishes. They're just sitting there. Yeah, they're on a different phone, like they're just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah, let me
and
tell
the
you.
Donations are pouring in. It's fascinating. Go ahead.
There's a chick called Amaranth, and she's on Twitch, and she does that thing. She's in a bathing suit and an inflatable, bathtub or inflatable pool. And, she's beautiful. I mean, godly beautiful. I mean, she's got like flawless skin, and she's got that geek kind of gamer,
I've seen this girl.
I think I've even heard of her.
She gets like almost
32-second blocks, of course.
10,000 people in her room at a time. She's done streams where she sleeps. And there's 8,000 people in there.
No, Ron was there.
I've seen people sleeping.
Ron was there. I bet you have, bro. I bet you fucking have.
Like, why would anyone sit and watch this pretty girl? Yeah, I know. I have seen the sleeping ones. There's a couple that pop up in my feed quite a bit. And I never see them getting ready for nighty night. I never see them doing anything. I think this is their shtick. They start to fall asleep and they go live, and then they leave it on until their phone shuts off, I guess. I don't know.
She's heaven forbid I get fucking sleep cam on, because my face when I sleep is uglier than like accidental reverse camera face.
I'd be more about them discovering my morning toots. I mean, them's my private times. You must understand. Yeah, God, I don't want to know. I have never filmed myself sleeping, so I don't want to know what I'm doing in my sleep. And I certainly wouldn't be comfortable knowing that 10,000 people could be just watching me in my sleep. Fascinating thought, though, isn't it?
Pitching a tent. Oh, man.
Like, I'm just going to take care of this. And I got a fucking crowd, and they got their own comment thread going, pointing out things, seeing comets stand on my head.
I think you might be onto something. You talk yourself into it.
I am talking myself into it.
You talk me into it. I'm subscribing.
But I've also seen these, I have been seeing more ASMR stuff. But so you may remember when I first brought the whole ASMR thing to you guys on the old show, some of you hadn't even heard about it.
Yeah, it was the first time I'd heard of it.
It was super new. It was huge. There were millions of people doing it by the time I found it. But it blew up a few years later, and now everyone seems to know what it is. But these ASMR girls are all doing literally the exact same thing, and it is so strange and cloney. It's like, back when I brought that story to the Tales from the Space Pod, there were lots of I brought a lot of clips. I played them on the show, like role playing that you're getting a haircut, or your girlfriend is lying in bed with you, talking to you, or you're, all these different scenarios, or somebody just making up some sort of kooky game to play with, or a lot of role playing and a lot of bits, like they would write even comedy bits. These girls are all doing the exact same thing. They're all sitting in a room. It's not the same room, but it's built the exact same. the same sort of LEDs and, same colored lamps in the background, which is not so shocking. Those are very popular right now, but they all have the same tools. Like they use these little bubble wands. I really like how they sound, actually. I don't know what's going on. I think they're just hollow tubes of water, and then there's like glass or plastic bubbles on each end, or orbs. And so when you turn it upside down, and you get this pleasant sort of sound. And so they put it up to the mic. They're all the same microphone, by the way. That's another thing. They use the slime, that all the kids are crazy about. They pull slime over the microphone, and then they sort of like run their fingernails over it. I gotta say, this makes a really interesting and alien type sound. There's nothing to compare it to.
Well, it sounds like suction cups kind of releasing it.
Yeah, it's really an interesting sound. Whoever came upon that, I don't blame people for copying that. It's super cool. Yeah. But I don't know, it's really strange because and then something else that's changed. Now, this was always a mouthy thing, ASMR. Like that's always been a thing. But now they have taken it to the next level. I have not been keeping up with the ASMR. Now they do things like where they try to actually talk to people in the comment thread, and they'll do things like thanks for the like.
Oh my gosh.
It is really weird and off-putting to me. Not the sound of it, just the stupidness of it. Like they go into this weird like speaking in tongues thing, and they all talk the same way. There's like 6 or 7 accounts. You guys are right all along, and we all knew that it was a matter of, to some degree anyway, a matter of what you watched or who you watched that fed your rotation from then on out. But the other night I just got hit with like ASMR after ASMR after ASMR. It looked like the same channel, but it was a completely different person doing the same exact thing, and it weirded me out. And I was like, we're losing the originality, is that the word, of some of the creative shit that I thought was so fun about the early wave of ASMR. And I think everyone's just copying each other now. I guess it's gotten pretty formulaic, at least on TikTok. But I thought that was pretty interesting. And everyone's just lazy. They see someone doing it, and they literally just copy and do the same thing. Like there are hundreds of Hooters live streaming while they're working, Hooters girls. And one girl did it, and it was super popular and got a bunch of followers. And so now everyone copies, and they're all nobody's doing anything. They just are filming themselves working. And it's kind of an interesting thing to hear how the patrons interact with them. A little creepy. More on that in a bit. Lots of bikini baristas. And a lot of them, most of them are in Washington. These aren't legal in many states. Washington is one of them. Might have been the first one to legalize it. And it's just as it sounds. It's like your neighborhood barista coffee stand, except they are very scantily clad. And some of them are really scantily clad. Like it's basically see-through lingerie. And it's like, oh, there's your titties and your cooch. And it's like, so I understand why that level could be a legal issue.
I'll take a latte, 16 ounces.
I had a question for you guys, though, before I continue my whatever this is. What I want you to guess what, at least in Washington and at least at these stands, overwhelmingly, because I did watch some of these for a while. It was now you can't see the girls because TikTok is too strict. So all you see is the top of their heads. It's strict talk. It's limp dick talk. It's all you see is basically the ceiling and the top of their head and maybe some shoulders. They can't really show anything. In fact, some of them will put on robes when there's no customers so that they can point the camera down. You can actually just talk to them. You really don't get to see many of these people. That's how scantily clad they are and how strict TikTok is. But what's interesting, the reason I held it on those for a bit was it is interesting to hear how people interact with them. And it's mostly okay, but, a lot of creeps coming through, as you might imagine. But I watched long enough to get a taste of that, but I also was like, why? This surprises me that this is the number one thing that people are getting at a espresso stand. So go ahead and take a guess what you think the most popular drink to get.
It's got to be something dumb like a Red Bull.
Lyle, what do you think?
I'm going to go with my favorite drink is a mocha.
Yeah, lots of mochas. John Mark, you want to voice in from the time with your guess? Make it fair.
What are we doing?
John Mark weighed in. I'll just go. What do you think the most popular order at a espresso stand is? What do you think the number one thing people are ordering?
A pop cup, puppuccino.
Oh, that's cute. They do that, and that is a cute thing to see. Sometimes they will aim the camera at the puppy dog, and you get to see the puppy dog, not the puppies, mind you, but the puppy dog. Well, Chris was right off the bat.
Wow,
I guess some kind of hot mocha or something. I don't know. What did Chris say?
Chris said Red Bull, and he's right. Not just Red Bull, but some people get Red Bull with a shot of espresso in it.
Yeah,
I guess this is called something. I don't
psychotic.
know. Yeah, it is psychotic, and it's called arrhythmia. How much fucking heart juice do you need, son? But anyway, I was surprised by that. But we talked about the possibility a while ago of doing a burlesque stand, a Radar Dames burlesque coffee stand, or maybe working with somebody else who's already got a little chain of coffee stands going on around here. But ultimately, nobody wanted to handle the money or legality issue. It was a fun idea, and I still think it could be fun to do like a takeover, like once or twice a month, maybe a little fundraiser, because these places jack the prices up. Like what normally would be a $4 or $5 coffee is an $8 to $10 coffee, just because you're getting served that coffee by someone who's half naked. So it is a little bit more expensive, and people seem fine with that, and they understand it. But so many of these things, well, I'm going to save that part actually, because I got more to get through. But where I first lost some sleep with TikTok was on St. Patrick's night. I did not go out on St. Patrick's night. It was a school night, and I had to get up fairly early the next day. But I stumbled upon a bartender who has her live stream set up behind the bar. So it points out toward, the room, the crowd, and the super thirsty, douchey guys in this case that were mostly in line, and a few luckless women that happen to wander into that bar and have to be hit on all night by these guys. But I kept thinking, that guy right there has been waiting for like 15 minutes. And because this was interesting people watching. It was a crowded bar. It was a Southern California thing. It was a douchey bar. It was like a place that I'd walk in if I was out of town and like, I'm going to go get a whiskey, and I'd be like, nope, not here, and turn the fuck back out. But, watching from afar was interesting. And the bartender kept like stopping, and what she would like sort of, it was loud in there. You couldn't really hear, but she would read comments and then like comment back and then get back to work. But she walked by this dude so many times, and then another dude like bellied up next to him, and pretty soon there were like 5 or 6 guys right at her immediate station, and they're all starting to roll their eyes, and then people in the comments start having fun when they're like, oh, guy in the black t-shirt's about to lose his shit. Like,
bro, give him a drink.
Serve them. Like, stop fucking with your phone and serve them. And she took for fucking ever, and she kept going back to her phone. Then finally she saw people were commenting. She turned around and got them drinks, and they were all taking the equivalent of the espresso shot into your Red Bull, Jaeger bombs with Red Bull. Now I don't know if you guys, I know Lyle knows Jaeger.
Those are bomb diggity.
They're what?
Oh, they're bomb diggity. You hit those like right towards the end of the night.
I'm just trying to combine. So Jägermeister is a very sort of like licoricey to me.
Yep.
It's a licoricey, black licoricey flavor. I'm trying to imagine that pairing with, although Red Bull to me kind of tastes like,
it's kind of good.
Somewhere between like that fake red licorice and cough syrup. So maybe I can see it going hand in hand.
There's a couple ways doing that. Sometimes it's in a 16-ounce glass, and they just mix it and give it to you. And then sometimes it's in kind of like one of those round tubs, the bigger tubs. They take the shot and they stick it right in the middle, and then you just chug it.
Yeah, that's like an actual bomb. I think that's how, like Irish car bombs and Jaeger bombs, stuff like that. Used to be like a Boilermaker that you would basically put the small into the big, if you will, and then chug her down. But I think at some point, everyone figured out that you can just mix it and drink it, and it's easier for everybody. But I do still see people doing true bombs every now and again. But we're going to talk about the glasses here in a second. This is also a separate issue. I'm telling you, this was a fascinating study in so many things. This one camera on this one bar on this one night. So there's all this nonsense of this girl getting shit from the comments about not serving people and whatever. It was a busy night, and so that kind of passed. But after that next line went through, there was a couple girls that got up there, and two of them took Jaeger bombs right there, like pounded it right there on the bar. One of them, before she'd even swallowed it, started barfing all over the bar.
Oh, God.
Right in front of the camera. It was amazing.
You're like must-see TV.
It's like, this is the greatest.
Chick, watch this.
No, I'm already in bed at this point because, like I said, it's like
just jack it off, just enjoying your night.
I'm like, this is everything that going out should be without actually having to suffer through.
To go out.
It's like people watching. It's like, you hate the douchebags, but sometimes you can't stop. You can't take your eyes off them, and watching them in their sorry little game and thinking they got game and watching them act like a bunch of wolves around prey. And it was just fucking captivating. People watching at its finest, these bar cameras, and I've kind of gotten hooked on them. But at some point, especially in, the chains like Hooters and McDonald's, this was like a ma and pa bar. And but at some point, these chains, I think especially, are going to find out, if they haven't already, that people are live streaming at work and they may not be doing their job as efficiently and effectively as they could. But more importantly, there's a glance behind the old curtain. Now, I was really impressed, as I told you last time, that when I was watching some kid flipping burgers at McDonald's, and just the whole system that was in play at McDonald's, the automation, it was all... You needed a person to do it all, but it was all like a crank, and there's your perfect little star of ketchup and mustard. Crank, there's your perfect little star of Thousand Island dressing for your Big Mac. It was all fun to watch, and it's making me fucking hungry. But it was super clean, super organized. I was really impressed. Not all of these places are. I was watching a Taco Bell feed the other day, and I was like, if Taco Bell saw this, you all be in some trouble. But, and I think we're going to see these kinds of things strictly banned. Maybe they already have. I feel like there's probably something in the verbiage of your job contract that says you shouldn't be dicking with your phone at all, let alone filming your entire night and stopping to talk. And, that's like going out and smoking a cigarette when it ain't your break. It's kind of odd. It can be good for marketing, obviously, and it brings new people in. Like, I'm going to go see that hot chick that I've been watching and talking to at Hooters. That happens, and people say it all the time. It especially happens with these baristas. They've gotten tons of followers from live streaming. But, like any kind of health ordinance, a violation gets captured on camera, that's obviously going to be pretty detrimental, unpopular management.
Oh, for sure.
And I can't do Taco Bell after the whole Wenatchee incident.
I still don't know if that was urban legend. I've never seen any concrete source reporting that.
100% true.
Well, I know that's what people say, but where's the proof?
Yeah, how do you know?
Proof's in the pudding.
What's the story? What's the story? True, I don't know.
Someone shitting the beans. But it also seems like something...
This disgruntled worker, he's just pissed off at his job and decided to do something.
Well, I'm sure it's happened.
Proof is in the frijoles.
Yeah. Frijoles.
It's even funnier back in 1938. Well, that sounds like an old-timey term. Wow, the proof is in the frijoles.
John Mark, do you have a little crank on your telephone?
Ching, ching. Little bit of Morse code.
I'll be back on the call in a few minutes.
Okay.
Bye now.
But goodbye. The reason I was going down this road is because going back to that same bar, and by the way, this account, if you want to follow this bartender, she doesn't live stream every night, but it's Kristen Kurzweil, both with a K. Christina Kurzweil, both with a K. And you'll see the very view that I speak. But the last time I was watching, it was the same night. They were, like I said, rocking and rolling. And it's one of those high volume, high octane kind of places where they serve all their cocktails in plastic cups. And, we did that at Radar for a while just because we didn't really have a convenient way of washing dishes. I didn't even have a lot of dishes at that point, glassware and stuff. As soon as I started doing cocktails and I wanted to charge $13-14 for some of those cocktails, we had to switch to glass. But we did the plastic thing for a while. And as you may imagine, at the end of the night, or as people dispose of them, we collected the cups and threw them away. Well, not this bar. They collected.
Oh, no.
And dumped out any extra sauce and put them in a big sink full of suds, floated them for a while, and then a quick trip down, a couple of dunks in the sanitized bath. Mostly they just kind of let it float around on top of the sanitized bath. And then they pulled it out of that and stacked it again right at the bar. All this happened right at the same bar, and then went back into the order cycle.
Did you imagine how many lipstick stains are all over?
That was my thought.
Let's don't take that out.
Well, actually, my first thought is I don't know. Maybe this isn't a health code violation at all, but the way I understand it, if a product is labeled as disposable, I'm pretty sure you have to dispose of it after its one use. But I don't know. Maybe things are different in California.
It's kind of like gloves or masks or anything like that.
Yeah. It's weird. And everybody was so weirded out by it that eventually the bartender was like, oh, fuck it. And then she just moved the camera so you couldn't see the old...
These fucks.
The old dude, washing the plastic cups all night. That was his job. His job was he would go collect them in big stacks and just dump them all in this one tub. And I never saw him change that water the entire night. And I was watching this feed for over an hour.
And let me tell you, I watched.
I did watch.
He'd be like, how's that song go? Old Solo Cup.
Red Solo Cup.
Yeah,
that's right.
Let's have a party.
Classic. One thing, of course, that I've been deeply disturbed by is how a lot of these anonymous or semi-anonymous dudes are talking to these women. Sadly, I expected some of that with, the more sex worker type accounts, I guess. Not that it excuses it, but that's where I expected to see more of that. What I did not anticipate is that it's literally happening anywhere a woman exists on camera. I was scrolling through and I saw, I noticed a mom and her two toddlers sitting at their kitchen table making cookies. And I was like, oh, they're all three making cookies together. Super cute. Not what I'm looking for. So I was about to scroll and my thumb just moved past.
Accidentally typed, show me your tits, bitch.
Well, somebody had just, before I, scrolled, it popped up, give me a 360. The give me a 360 is basically stand up, turn around, show me your ass. In other words, you sitting there in your kitchen, fully clothed, of course, just a mom, not doing a sex worker account of any kind, just making cookies with her kid. And it's like, what the fuck? What do you, why do you think you have the right that you can just, in any of these scenarios, really, but especially, a mom just with her kids making cookies, and you think that you are entitled to essentially say, yeah, bitch, show me your ass. It's really troubling and disappointing because I guess I have been naively under the impression that men were at least trying to do better with everything that's happened in the last few years, the Me Too movement, or at least trying to appear to be doing better, if you feel me. But no, not at least in the anonymous area. And what comes out in anonymity?
That's a tough word. I was actually trying to use that to hammer the same point in. Yeah.
It's like, what comes out when people don't know who you are, except their true selves, right? It's like, it's really gross, and it's troubling. And you can hide the comments, and I often do, but sometimes you want to leave them on because there's interesting things happening there, and they actually become part of the story.
How discouraging for these people too. I don't know that if we did a live feed and somebody was just shouting dumb shit at us the whole time, I don't know how I'd feel about that. Just as our podcast,
Right. Well, it would happen if we did it in a place like TikTok for sure. Probably to some degree on Twitch. Facebook and YouTube, the only people that will likely find us are friends or people that went out of their way to find us, listeners who follow the link that we posted. These other ones, they have those for your pages or your home page where you can just get a random thing popping up. And then, we're exposed to anybody, anywhere, at any time, and that's when the gloves will come off, of course. And people are just fucking mean. There's so much just stupid meanness, and holy shit, there's mansplaining. Men love to tell women that they're doing something wrong on the TikToks.
Before it's mainly just the fact that you're in disguise. Nobody knows you, so it's like, let's go just put some random shit out there. There's no consequence for it, so fuck it. You know, and then they walk.
And you think if you get like 4 or 5 of this in a row, you're like, oh, why doesn't she just block this guy? But the thing is, there can be 10,000 people in there, or way more. You block one, 5 more pop up. So it's like, are you going to spend your entire live stream just, block, which is pointless? No. So you just accept it. And it's like, it's a sad thing to accept. And you can see the looks on their face when they're like smiling and it's like, oh yeah. And they answer the question. And then you see some douchebag creepy thing and they're just like, it changes a little bit, but they don't want to address it. They just move on. They ignore it because that's always the right thing to do. But Jesus Christ, it's like, come on, dudes, fucking stop it.
Well, a lot of those sites have moderators, and those moderators have full control of your site, so they could basically ban anybody they choose that seems to be, pain in the ass for.
And then 5 minutes later, they've set up a brand new fake account, and then they're right back in it. It's like, it is pretty futile. But yeah, they do. I do see moderators helping out with that from time to time in these more popular accounts.
I'm surprised you're so enthralled with TikTok, because like I really liked Instagram just for the stories and stuff like that. And now they're not even that great anymore. So I moved on to YouTube, to the shorts, and I do enjoy those. So maybe
I don't watch any of those. I don't watch any of the little videos. Those don't interest me for some reason. I'm solely in like what's happening right now. And I'm going to end here with a couple of things that if nothing grabs you guys about at least trying TikTok, then maybe this will, because I discovered this fucking incredible account. Out of all the things that I've seen on TikTok, this is the one that is like, no one would ever think about doing this, I think, and no one would ever really think that this is out there, because when people close their eyes and think about TikTok, it's a whole bunch of just weird lip syncing and, all the shit that we already talked about.
Sure.
These quick little videos like, cute and silly, people dressing up in costume. And, some of them are really creative, really good. It's just not something I spend time looking at. But this account is called Daron, and it was DA.Ron_. He's got a couple backup accounts. I think he's been known to smoke a doob here and there, and if you're not careful about that, keeping it at least partially off screen, you'll get a violation from TikTok. They don't want you smoking or drinking or any kind of things like that on TikTok. Yeah, so I mean that's the only thing I can guess. Maybe it's because you could see potentially really fucked up things like I have. So this dude, he basically just. Here's what he has. He has a super fast one wheel and very smooth, very high tech. And I think he says it could basically go like 25 miles before it runs out of batteries. It's like,
it's the, what is it? It's not the XR, but it's probably the GT.
That sounds familiar.
It's the newest one they brought out. I have an XR.
It's a brand new one, and he got it all charged up, but he also has. He goes around with a little police scanner, and he also has his phone or his camera, whatever he's streaming with, is on a gimbal. So it's completely stable as you could possibly imagine. So he's just gliding through
traffic,
the whole city of Los Angeles, usually late at night, usually not in terribly safe places, and he just floats across the city, and it's super soothing and interesting to watch, except... he has a police scanner going, and he's usually going looking for like, oh shit, that's going on this block, and he'll haul ass to try to get to that block and maybe catch some police stuff going down or some crime stuff going down. But the first time I encountered him, he was scrolling through Skid Row, like actual Skid Row, which is right in front of the infamous Hotel Cecil, where the woman was found dead in the water tank, of course. The Corpse Water Hotel. Everyone knows that. He even managed to get on the roof And he was riding around. There's a video, one of the snippets on his homepage you can see is him riding around on the roof in front of the infamous tanks, the most infamous water tanks in history. It's crazy. The dude just kind of seems fearless, and he has been in some pretty sticky situations. You know, he's had people come after him with knives and junkies coming after him with like rusty needles. But the whole plot is really just to document what's going on out and about. And usually, like I said, looking for crimes to catch on camera or just exploring the city. But he's fucking hilarious, and he just cruises around, and you know, he gets miles and miles away from his apartment sometimes in like 2 or 3 in the morning. But every time there's like a meth addict or some skeevy junkie person walking around, he calls them Billy, and he does it in this funny high-pitched voice like, Billy? But he does it as he's floating by them, and that's got them to come after him from time to time. And I don't know, he just makes these funny little noises. He makes me laugh. But he's mostly just kind of silent, cruising around and hating everybody that drives Mustangs, because he almost got ran over by a Mustang. But there's so many things to talk about, and I'm not even going to try to cover it. It's just the things that you see in real time, you know, like crack whores having sex on dumpsters and just shit. You know, stuff like that is probably why he got banned more than even smoking on the screen. But also, he'll cruise down the Hollywood Boulevard and see all that wackiness. He just snuck into a big fancy fashion show. He put his one wheel in a bush outside, and he snuck in. He had some sort of old badge from an old event, and they let him in, and he just live streamed this super elite fashion show for a little while, and he was walking around like bugging other people like, excuse me, sir, do you have a press pass? And they're like, yeah, it's right here. He's just kind of a smart ass going around doing his own thing, but I don't know. I highly recommend checking this out because it's fascinating to just explore the city. And, not just the ghettos, but some of the fancier buildings where it's just in the middle of the night, he'll come across this like beautiful waterfall, and there's like an escalator going up into this little forest area. He'll just hop off the board and ride it up and just explore. And maybe there's people having sex in the woods, or a junkie, or maybe he gets chased out by a security guard. And he just went exploring in this old decommissioned missile silo that I didn't even know about, which is right outside of Hollywood. In the Hollywood Hills, and he's just cruising around and all these places. It's really fucking fascinating. He doesn't go on every single night, and he usually goes on later at night. But yeah, it's kept me up because he's been in some really bad spots, and like just riding through abandoned warehouses, and encountering the kind of people you would expect in abandoned Los Angeles downtown warehouses. And then he'll cruise back home at the end of the night to his super kick-ass downtown apartment in a high-rise. Really interesting dude, and an interesting life he's living.
Do you want to hear the new soundbite?
We have a new soundbite?
Billy!
That's actually really close. Billy? But do it as a question. He's usually asking. Yeah, that's it. That's basically him. Where are we at? I got one more thing I wanted to talk about, but maybe I'll spurse out my TikTok reel. His name is Daron. The handle is DA.RON_. And then that plus backup, and then that plus backup 2 are his other backups. The one I've been seeing, I think his first one got on suspension for some reason. So the backup 1 is the one I've been seeing him on lately. Yeah, I don't know if he does Twitch. A lot of these do, also have Twitches, but
yeah, I'd be curious if he's on YouTube or not. I'm sure he is.
I don't know. I haven't seen him anywhere except here, but he could be. He's got a super slick little operation and tons of followers. Like, there are thousands of people watching him at night. But The reason I was like, sometimes you want to leave the comments on. There was a time when people were like, dude, go back. There's like some girl that's being dragged into a fucking car by 2 guys. And he's like, wait, what? And he thought they were fucking with him, so he kept rolling. He's like, no, dude, go back. And this was late in the morning, downtown LA, and he's like, all right, you guys are telling me to go back, I'll go back. And he went back, and there were 2 guys carrying this woman. It looked more like they probably saw it like just from the corner of their eye, moving quickly, but it was basically 2 guys carrying a super drunk woman. But she was kind of like fighting, but she was super wasted, and the guys were like, it's cool. It's like, oh boy, what do you do in that situation? How do you know?
Yeah, that's rough.
But I was proud of him for going back.
Yeah.
Before I bought my XR, I spent hours and hours of watching fucking one wheel, videos, YouTube and stuff. There's some of my favorite ones are like people cruising around the whole city of New York, and they're just cruising around a little pint, just do. There's no music to it, but the way they have the GoPro like on a stick, so basically you see the whole body of the rider and the one wheel, and they're just cruising along, man.
Oh man, that gimbal stuff is something else. It is so fucking, we're so used to seeing jerky movements, even in like movies and video games, that when you see something that is that locked down, even though he's cruising, it just really, that's what jumped out at me. Is like, this is something just mesmerizing to watch. Well, but then you had the crazy bullshit that he comes across.
The trick level. Is the reason why most people, like filmmakers, buy one wheels is as a gimbal. It runs on a big old fucking go-kart tire, and it's really hard to get shaky footage if you have it on
like a great dolly.
Yeah.
Well, it certainly works. I do have a lot more, but that's a lot more that I have. So I'm going to save that for next week. There's a bunch of Ukraine live streams that I want to talk about, but we're already at about 40 minutes, and we still got to do some whatever you guys want to talk about, some weird triv, and end the show on. Let's talk about too. John Mark's picks. So we got a lot we got to get moving on to. So why don't we jump right into feedback, Chris?
All right, I love it.
Get that taken care of. I'm dying to hear what y'all thinking. Dying to hear what y'all think about us. Give me just a second, though, would you? I got to grab my lighter.
First off, I want to share an email I received. Ron's not back yet.
Jesus is just all right. Okay. We are back.
Okay, first things first, I want to share an email I received today, actually. And this one kind of rocked me. It was I hope he doesn't mind that I'm sharing this. I don't think he will. I got an email from Jeff. And Jeff Hall says, put me on the list to get back on weird trivia, because we did mention last time we're going to recycle anyone's eligible to get back into the championships now, even previous winners. He says, he says, put me with Ron again, because I'm more likely to get my prize from him. Maybe he can combine both of what he owes me into one package at that point. He's just thinking ahead. He's just thinking I'm saving you, Ron.
Saving me some shipping.
Mm-hmm. He goes on to say, also, I really needed a new episode. My brother died on Monday. I'm not sure, but I thought I heard one or more of you guys mention wrestling in the past. If so, you may have seen my brother Scott in passing, either under his name as Razor Ramon or probably his most famous character, not his own name. That was his most famous name. Even I knew who that was. Like as a name, I knew.
AWO and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and his death was all over the place, like that.
Yeah,
that was news stories everywhere. The story I saw said that it was complications during hip surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
rough
on a body. Yeah, really sad.
Sorry to hear that, Jeff. That sucks, man.
Mm-hmm.
We went on to email back and forth a little bit. He did go on to say also, hearing Lyle change triple points into 2 points almost killed me. Thanks for that, guys. I needed it.
He's done that a couple times, and it's funny every time. It's just like, like, here it is. Give it to me. Don't buck it up. And there it is. It's way better. Well, Jeff, I'm really sorry to hear about it's amazing that he was your brother, and really a huge loss to the world. I was not a big Raslin fan, but I was absolutely aware, and kind of incredible to know that that's your brother. But really appreciate you reaching out, and I'm glad. As silly as the show is, it is something that can brighten people's day, and it's important for us to remember. So I love that you guys share that with us, because sometimes it does feel like we're just sort of flapping our gums in the wind. We do know that we have a good, diehard, loyal following, which is growing again for the first time in a long time. Actually, our numbers are going back up. But yeah, condolences and appreciate you reaching out to us on that.
I'm happy to say also Jeff is going to be one of our upcoming Strange Triv
great
participants. I've got three people booked. Nobody could join us tonight. Scheduling, just scheduling was off, guys. But I've got 3 people coming in the coming weeks, and I'd love to get more of you. Please shoot me an email at christopher.bizarre@gmail.com, or just send us a note on Facebook, whatever. I'll make it happen. It's real easy. It's been fucking great actually getting some of you on the show.
Yeah,
so
it has been fun.
I was gonna say my favorite part of watching wrestling was actually like the NWO days. You know, it was kind of like the pinnacle, you know, kind of died off. And then, you know,
it has a rebirth every so often.
Well, they went to different companies. So, like, the people that you used to like to watch were gone. Yeah. So it's kind of died out.
Chris, we still haven't figured out the snackly crackly.
Is it still snackly cracking right now?
Yeah. It seems to... Doesn't happen too
Can we turn this into some sort of ASMR thing?
Let me just give me 2 seconds. I'll restart this.
What it sounds like a short underground.
They do a lot of this.
Okay, give me a sec. I'll fix it.
Okay. What are you using for a mic?
A tuna can.
A tuna can with a string.
I saw somebody on TikTok. Or not TikTok, but some YouTube video I was watching of, I guess, a podcast type thing, video podcast. I can't remember what it was. It wasn't anything that interested me, but I stopped long enough to see that he had modified like a ribbon mic to sit inside a tuna can. So it's like a StarKist tuna can on a little mount. It was really well done. Like it looked like something hilarious that would have been professionally put together in the 40s.
Nice.
You know, it's got the little star shock mount and everything. It's just floating in the middle of it. Like, I want that.
I love people like that. There was a guy that gifted a mutual friend, like on Instagram. It was if you've ever seen Fallout 4, the Pit Boy, and it actually worked. It like had a screen in it and everything, and you could dial different, screens with the dial.
I think I know what you're talking about because I saw that in the prop replica forum.
Yeah, and I asked, I said, I commented, "Oh my God, I want one of those." And he actually messaged me like 2 weeks later. He goes, "Do you really want one? I can make one for you."
Yeah.
I was like,
It's a whole cottage industry. People doing that shit.
Yeah, I couldn't fucking afford one of those.
I saw the prop replica forum. If you like movies and you just like props, like you like the idea of the craft, even if you're not looking to make them, I make things a lot like prop type things, or I'm always learning about the techniques that they use to do my own like little TV screen stuff. It's a fascinating place to be. The replica prop forum, rpf. Maybe org or com. Just look up replica prop forum. Tons and tons and tons of tutorials and projects and just people showing off their stuff. One of my favorite projects that I saw on there was somebody did the Douglas Adams Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy from the TV show, the BBC TV show.
Yeah. It
was so well done. Another one I saw that was really good. I can't remember what the device is called, but did you guys ever watch that show, Warehouse 13?
Yeah.
It's a pretty good show.
I think I've seen a couple episodes, yeah.
It's kind of like a combo of, it's like a comedic take on the X-Files.
Yeah.
But it's also sort of like at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark where they're wheeling the Ark of the Covenant into this giant warehouse. That's kind of the premise. Is like, this is one of those warehouses, basically, where all the secret stuff goes. And then they always, each episode they feature on some device that's logged and cataloged, and it got stolen or they have to get it and put it back. They have this little reader thing on there that's awesome that someone did a really cool replica.
Do you find that sometimes the replica props are actually better than the props from the movies? Because a lot of times you see props from movies and you're like, wow, that was the fucking thing that we thought was so fucking cool on screen.
Yeah, I remember anyone that gets a chance. I haven't been there in years, but I think it's still set up this way. It's Mopop now, but it used to be called It's been called a few things. The music experience,
something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
experience,
in Seattle,
yeah.
the building that looks like a big kind of like pile of space junk. Really cool place.
It's supposed to be supposedly it's supposed to be like a melted guitar, but it just looks like a wad of gum and like tinfoil or something.
Yeah, it's very controversial. I like it just because why not make
EMP,
a big fucking pile of junk for a building? But it's a beautiful place inside, and they have a lot of changing exhibits. But when I was there, they had like what seemed like a permanent exhibit of Paul Allen's, or part of Paul Allen's insane sci-fi collection. And yeah, the old Star Trek props and all that stuff up close. It looks like some hunk of junk that would be lying around in like your local PUD warehouse from like antiquated electrical equipment. And the first time they had the Death Star in there, like the actual Death Star that they used for the close-ups, not the close-up close-ups, but you know, like the top hemisphere.
Sure. How big was it?
Oh, probably about 4 feet in diameter, maybe a little bigger. But what they did is they painted this giant like acrylic dome with gray paint, and then every place that you see light is where they scratched it. And so they just lined it all out and scratched in all of those little rooms, windows, divisions of the panels. It was incredible to see that up close. But super up close, it looks like fucking garbage.
Really?
It's not sloppy in that they didn't really draw it out clearly with lines, but it's like, you know, it's rough. It's really rough, and all of those props are because they didn't need to be.
It's just made to look good at a certain angle at a certain distance.
Little smoke, a little post production, and there it is. Yeah.
Whoops, Bob's your uncle.
100%. If you're making a showpiece for your own display case in your own house, it's going to look better than most movie props. Maybe not these days. These days they make things, you know, it's so much easier to fabricate. So they probably do make them pretty slick. And they know that there's a market for them now, so they can sell them. Anyway, are we all back, Chris?
Yep. Does it sound a little better now?
So far, yes.
Okay, awesome. We'll keep this happy train rolling, hopefully. Okay. How about some Facebook comments, guys? You want to hear some?
Let's do it.
Okay. From the last episode, our last actual episode, 88, Wacky News and Classic Cartoons, Melanie Stair says, who would have imagined that the prolonged hand-holding of yesteryear would one day lead me to be screwed unpleasantly by the one and only Ron Evans? Not even a single point.
Now, that may require a little bit of backstory. But I know I've told the story before because Melanie's been listening to this show, I would guess, since day one. Is there more? I can wait until you're done.
She says, in other news, think I'm going to play along and listen to John Mark's music pick. It's on Apple Music, if that's helpful to anyone. And she did go on to, I thought I'd talk about that when we got closer to the actual review. Yeah. There was a few people that played along this time.
Yeah.
It was nice to see. So, Andrea Smith Newburn says, is anyone going to break it to Lyle that Instagram Reels are basically just reposted TikToks?
Yeah, you've been watching TikTok, son. How does that make you feel? Betrayal. Lies.
You were around before TikTok, so maybe you're just watching. Watching the regurgitated shit of Instagram.
Oh shit! Which one is the regurg and which one's the retate?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wait, huh? What came first, regurg or the tate? Oh no!
Wait, first I didn't tell the backstory of Melanie. It's real quick.
Yeah,
but she is my first wife's cousin.
Jody.
Yeah, there we go. And Jody's family always liked to get together in parks, trailer parks, campgrounds, and so there was always just a bunch of sitting around in lawn chairs, having barbecue, whatever. And it was a family that said grace before we dug into our roasted pig, and we held hands. And Melanie was, I believe this is the first time we met. This is when I was new in the family, and we all were holding hands. And we were holding hands, and then, people sort of casually stopped holding hands and we started talking, and then the prayer was done. We were in line for food. It was a good long while before Melanie and I realized we were still just holding hands, just the two of us. So that was always a fun, one of my favorite little origin stories of
it's kind of sweet
how we met. Yeah, it was cute. So that's what that comment was about.
Katie Surgery Jeff, if you're nasty, says my favorite Lyleism of the episode was frustrated. Also, I'm frustrated at least once a week.
Frustrated's a good one. Yeah, that is a good word. All of Lyleisms are words that could and maybe in some cases should be actual words. That's why they flow so natch. But frustrated's a good one. He had a really good one last episode. I can't remember what it was, but it'll come up again because I have since adopted it and added it to my vocabulary. But this is how words get made. We are adding words to the dictionary all the time, and it's interesting that a lot of them, like I'm pretty sure, maybe I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure a whole nother has been recently added into our official dictionary because so many people say it. A whole nother, not another whole or an entire house, which, however you would say it. It does sound right to say a whole nother. I don't say it because it always bugged me, but everyone says a whole nother. It took a whole nother week. It flows, and that's how words get added to the dictionary. Make them up, and if enough people make them up with you, you never know. Frustrated could easily be.
I mean, all words are literally made up. So
all made up. Mm-hmm. It's all a lie. Yeah.
Cheryl Martin says, I was screaming Darkwing Duck through that entire game. It was one of my favorites. I was expecting to hear Beetlejuice on that list. She posted a little animated Beetlejuice. I do remember that. Yeah,
that was a good cartoon. That was a really good cartoon, actually. Underrated. Yeah, I had a lot of people give me feedback directly on that one. They said the same thing. They were screaming, like, how could you not say this? I don't remember what they were, but they all had their opinions.
So many options, so many favorites.
Well, and like everything, it's a whole nother thing.
It's a whole nother thing.
When you're playing at home versus playing on the show and you want to win. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sarah Ray Shield says, my TikTok live, I see a lot of feeds of people scratching lottery tickets. I also get random women sitting in front of a screen and reading the weather while answering questions from viewers.
Right. Like the weather lady. I've seen a few of those. That's a fascinating thing.
Maybe you guys have hung out in the chat room together.
Maybe we have.
Maybe you have.
Hey, a little 360 down there. What's the story? Why don't you give me a little tornado of your own and twisty.
Oh, you know what there needs to be? Maybe there is, because if I just thought of it, obviously somebody else has before, probably, but TikTok number stations.
Well, I find these little mysterious things that I feel like could be some sort of clandestine shit. Because what else could explain it? I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I need to start, recording some of these so I can just show you, like, what do you guys think this is? There's a lot of random weird shit out there.
Ben Morhaime, our Ben says, way to rock it, TJ. Lyle, thanks for being my guy in the news quiz.
Yeah, TJ kicked ass.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Russ McCaw says, the theme song. I can almost hear Christopher explaining the ringtone at work. Shit that will get you fired. Believe me, this has been something I've thought about at great lengths. I'm gonna have to lie and just be like, oh yeah, back when I worked at this other place, and so I, been doing this 12 years. Oh God,
what's this about getting fired? Different time. Different place, different employer.
Different Christopher, frankly. The lovely Sarah Sim says, Christopher's giggle after hearing his new theme song made my whole day. And I did go back and I listened and I was like, how bad was it? It was a pretty bad giggle, but I literally couldn't help myself. It was a wonderful little thing.
I worked hard on that. I need a giggle to.
Well, I hope. I intend on you guys suffering through it every episode. I don't care. Ron can edit the real one in. I'm gonna play the shit version through my mic every fucking night.
I got it queued up.
Oh, that's great. She says, I can't stop singing It's Weird Trivia. Ron Evans, I can't help but think you may have missed your calling as a jingle writer. I've thought this about you in the past because you so quickly can churn this shit out.
Yeah, I do. And I have done jingles, but not much. It is a gift. I just, these aren't super impressive things, but my skill is coming up with shit that will stick in your head. And what else do you need a jingle to be? And they're not paying you $50,000, so it needs to be quick. But
Russ McCaw says, "Damn, 2 weeks in a row, you saved my drive from Seattle. Thanks for the new episode." It's nice to think that people look forward to filling their time with us. That's cool.
And being, a 2-hour plus show, we really can get people on through an entire trip. Like we're their entire trip. Mm-hmm.
So you wanted me to keep going? I can go back to another episode and read a few more comments, or if you want me to get on to Strange True, we could do that too.
You got some handy.
Yeah, I do.
I mean,
let's go back. We're gonna. You got some.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you got stories. Okay. Well, let me get through the feedback, and if you want to do anything after that, that'd be great. Episode 87, Lyle returns with bubbles. Melanie says, "So glad to hear that sexy voice again, Lyle. Welcome back."
I did miss episodes, did I?
Welcome back.
We never did anything without you.
We didn't record without you. But
okay.
She's commenting on the one that you first came back and told the harrowing tale. Yeah. Yeah, we never did get to comment on or comments from that one.
Luke Karen says, "Lyle's right. They can be bastards. I had one break into my tent once and steal my bananas. Was nearly a punch on." I'm not sure what he's talking about, but is it monkeys? He put a Facebook video watch, but I can't pull. It's not pulling up for me.
Monkeys can be bastards. That must be what he's referring to.
I think so too. Russ McCaw says, "Oh hell yeah, glad to hear he's out of the hospital. Got a show for my drive to Seattle today."
Nice.
And thanks to the Crippler for the big win, because that was the week. I think Lyle won.
What was that? 2 wins for the viewers? 2.
Ron, man, I don't.
Oh yeah, 3 wins.
2 wins. 2.
Oh wow! I like how he doesn't. I like how he doesn't get his. I like how he doesn't get his numbers wrong.
Seemed to be perfect that time.
Yeah. 80 Surgery Jeff says, "Yay for this episode, keeping me sane this morning on my 3.5-hour drive from Forks to Seattle." Wow. Yikes. And yay for the triumphant return of Lyle.
Forks, isn't that where Twilight was supposed to be?
That was, yeah. That's where it was.
Indeed.
I went up there. That's where I went when my dad died. I went up to Forks, basically. I had to drive through Forks to get to that all those beach shots I sent you guys.
Did you turn into a vampire?
Was that actually filmed up there?
Yeah,
parts. Some of it, I think, was
Vancouver, right? Yeah.
There. It was I think some of it was filmed in Oregon too, maybe.
Makes sense.
But
it's a beautiful area.
Arben says, "So glad to hear Lyle." Jacob Roberts says, "Glad you're back, Lyle. Can't wait to listen." Cynthia says, "Lyle, you do know there's literally 50 people here nearby even who would be happy to go shopping for you, right?" We had some people in your corner then when you were saying you were having a hard time getting your groceries.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of nice.
Yeah, that was nice. Lots of people reached out about that.
That's all I got right here. So I'll bring these every week if you want me to. I'll try to do last week's episode comments.
Yeah, that's great. I've got some emails piling up too that I'll bring at a future date, but I'm curious what Lyle has brought. I haven't had a good Lyle story for a while, so
tons of goodness.
Let's do it.
Oh, I'm not sure if you guys have been paying attention, but the Shackleton ship, the Endurance, was discovered after 100 years being lost up in the Antarctic. So basically, you can play the audio for it. It's really short. It's only like 3 minutes if you want. I'm gonna send it to you. But it's fascinating because these guys basically 28 guys plan to truck across the Antarctic, right? And they're gonna sail there. And the boat, obviously it's 100 years old. It's like kind of like the Pirates of the Caribbean, kind of ship. And they got stuck in the ice. And so what they had to do is bust the ice open, to get it through. And it ended up freezing over and crushing the ship, leaving them stranded. So all they had was basically the lifeboats, and they trucked it by foot halfway over the Antarctic, and they got to basically like you would think our mountain ranges. They're stuck in the middle of this shit, and the closest place they have is a whaling station that's on the other side of these glorious snow-capped mountains. So it's untouched, so they have to truck everybody over and across, and the end of the story is they make it and they all survive. But they recently found the ship. It's at the bottom of the ocean there. They took today's technology and was down there, and it's fascinating just to see what it looks like.
Yeah,
because it's pretty remarkable. The thing is, it's so cold in the Antarctic, it kept the wood from deteriorating. So it like basically encapsulated this beautiful ship.
This must have just happened.
Yeah, this recently.
They've been looking for this thing for since what 1910 or something.
Yeah. There's a little stint of it on History Channel that they did a big whole documentary on it recently. I watched it this weekend.
I gotta see.
I thought it was something to look at.
The video you sent is an hour long, so I'm not going to play that. But
shit, wrong one.
But here's some good pictures.
Here, I fucked it up. Here's this one. This is the one you want to see.
I did see this.
Here's the one I want to show you. It's only 3 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind.
It's cool.
Seeing some actual footage.
It's worth the audio, if anything, because it's short.
This might creep you out, Chris.
Yeah, I'll just pass.
Something so eerie about seeing this shit underwater. Okay, let's give it a little listen.
A ship called Endurance, the vessel that launched one of the most remarkable stories of survival and determination. William Brangham has our report.
She hasn't been seen in over 100 years. This is the Endurance, resting nearly 10,000 feet down in the dark, freezing waters.
You guys got to see the video if you're not playing it.
Okay.
Just a few sea anemones and other creatures bearing witness to perhaps the final chapter in one of the world's great stories of heroism and survival. This was Endurance back in January of 1915. A sturdy, three-masted ship that had carried British explorer Sir Ernest Shackleton and his crew of 27 to the coast of Antarctica. Shackleton's plan was to land and then cross the entire continent, which would have been a first. But the Endurance got stuck off the coast, trapped by the massive halo of sea ice that grows around Antarctica every year. The ice seized the ship, and despite the crew's best efforts, never let her go. Shackleton and his men were stranded, forced to live on the drifting ice with their ship for nearly 10 months. Their heroic expedition plans ruined. After carrying them many miles along the coast, that churning ice crushed the Endurance, and she sank to the bottom of the sea. What makes this story so legendary is the extraordinary journey that Shackleton and his men then had to do, over unmapped mountains and across hundreds of miles of open ocean in small lifeboats to get out.
This is regarded as one of the epic small boat voyages ever undertaken across.
I should talk over it to some degree to
harshest seas.
Call it fair use, and it's done.
2019
Fucking Christ.
The director of the Scott Polar Research Institute explained how precarious their journey was to finally reach a distant whaling station.
These photos of the expedition
epic boat journey
look like nothing but misery.
And then they have to do an epic
how you know how cold it is?
There's those mountains I was talking about.
All the time knowing that if they failed, no news would ever come out, and the whole party of 28 would probably die.
But they all made it. Polar historian Katie Murray says this is...
That's probably enough. Fucking fascinating, but those videos in the beginning there, did you see those? Did you guys see those?
Yeah. At the ship?
Yeah.
Itself? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Amazing. So, are they lifting it up?
I don't know. I think they're probably going to leave it as it is, as a monument, I think. Who knows? They might, but I don't think the value of it would be worth anything unless you put it in a museum.
Getting that in a museum, and then that museum is in biz forever. But, yeah, who knows? The whole thing could deteriorate. Sometimes these things fall apart when they try to pull them up, and sometimes they get in. We have ships that are even older than this, like full Viking ships and shit from back in the colonial days.
For sure.
Completely intact in museums, so they could do it.
And it's 100 years old, it's
and frozen. So I wonder what that has done too. There's got to be so many interesting things inside, like still stowed inside somewhere. Like that's a museum in and of itself. Can you imagine if you could walk in it? Like if it was in a museum, you can actually walk into it.
Well, the thing is that there's not a lot of sea creatures, in the Antarctic. It's so cold, nothing really, there's a couple sea urchins you see on the ship.
Yeah.
100 years
glowing right there on the bow.
Yeah, there's no coral.
There's this is just my home. What's your big deal?
Yeah, you could literally lift that up, and it would be just like probably pristine, close to it.
Could be a giant fucking giant squid living on the other side of that thing. We don't know.
Booga booga.
Yeah.
All right.
Spooky.
Well, I got one story that there are two stories that are kind of really short.
Okay.
There was a real bat during the screening of Batman.
I saw that
in Austin, Texas. I guess they're doing a screening of the Batman. You know, people are all paying customers and whatnot.
Yeah.
And somehow a bat got into the theater and was flying around through the whole
most realistic movie ever, bro.
Whenever he bites me, if I'll get the powers. Everybody that was there got a refund, and there was a lot of, I guess, people that didn't care and just decided to watch the movie instead.
People got refunds because they just wanted to get the fuck out and not get rabies.
No, well, yeah, exactly.
It's a real thing.
Yeah, totally. But
that's fair. But yeah, pretty great to be in that room.
I used to when I was
famous story.
Little tidbit. When I was a security guard, they had a fashion show, and a fruit bat got in the lobby of the mall, and I ended up trapping it with my coat and letting it out. And people after that called me Batman. And it's also, I had a lot of shit on my belt, because I wore like a left.
You had a utility belt.
Oh yeah, I remember them days. Lyle as a security guard.
Let me show you my crippler rang.
Good stuff. Look, yeah, I got it in my utility belt.
Yeah, it's right here.
That's no baton.
Here's another one. Find it.
Yeah, they got the bats down there in Austin. They got that famous bridge where, like clockwork, every fucking night, everyone goes and stands and watches that giant herd of bats come flying out of, I don't know if it's a cave or something. Happens every night.
Coming out of the bottom of a fucking bridge.
It's incredible. It's like hundreds, must be thousands of bats.
So I got a 2-minute video of, I think it's Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
They did a bunch of digging, and they found sarcophaguses in the fucking basement.
So what?
Went a little Christopher Walken. There's sarcophagus. These sarcophagus.
There's sarcophaguses along with Elotopus. Right here. I can show you.
Mr. Carter.
It's up to you if you guys want to use it or not. I don't know.
Well, let's take a look. It's only 2 minutes.
I thought it was interesting because they're building basically a bunch of newer buildings.
Well, this is it like a catacomb thing? Because that's all like all the Catholic.
Notre Dame Catholic.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's take a look here. Mammy, what do we see, Mammy?
They're basically excavating it.
Yeah, underneath the Notre Dame. Literally nobody knows how to pronounce it. The lead-made sarcophagus was found in perfect condition.
Yeah, there were the coffins made out of lead.
They believe it goes back to the 14th century. There's so many crazy things in those fucking catacombs and...
Right.
And it's weird how we... old humans meeting new humans is a fascinating thing because we didn't catalog. You like there's a word that end up in the dick.
What?
Mm-hmm. we didn't catalog and keep track of things back then like we do now and map things out, and so we discovered a lot of things 1,000 years later by building a fucking high rise over a place. Looks like it's just one, huh?
I think there's a handful.
Interesting. Oh, it's so creepy where you can see like the modern road has been dug through, and then there's like old stone walls just underground, and then that's where they found this thing. Like there's whole chambers under there.
Yeah.
That blows me away that shit just
exists.
An entire underground world essentially in the most ancient parts of society. Yeah.
Okay.
It's nuts.
Now here's a story that Chris is gonna cringe on.
Go.
Yeah, let's end on a Chris cringe.
This is definitely a fucking cringe moment. So these spelunkers decide to spelunk into an old
Treat yourself.
An old aquarium, right? Shut down. This is overseas, and so I'll let you watch the video. Once it gets to a certain part, I want you to go to 12:20.
Okay.
In the video.
Chris, I hope that you're watching along. This is dedicated to you.
It is.
An abandoned aquarium. Is it still underwater? I guess
no. It's a abandoned aquarium. Like you go to see fish,
right,
and whatnot. There's a. I should have sent. I hope.
Okay.
Oh God!
Like I said,
right off the bat, the thumbnail already has a sea creature. Okay.
No, that's not good. That's not good at all.
Yes, it is. So what they found was a mummified shark.
No, that's sad.
Dude,
that's gross and sad. I don't want to look at this anymore.
Love me, Christopher. Give me a dry ancient kiss.
Son of a bitch. Right. I saw dry ancient kiss open up for Oasis once. Let me tell you.
Wow. Yeah, they got in a fight with the Gallagher brothers, but who doesn't? Yeah. Okay, so this is pretty fucking creepy. I see. It's the whole facility of the aquarium's abandoned.
Yeah.
Everything's dead.
Yeah,
they just left shit in there.
They left shit in there, and
that is sad.
Scrounge around, beat shit up, and left it for whatever it was worth. But they left like creatures and tanks.
Yeah,
and
it's just a whole bunch of creatures left to dry out or starve.
Yeah, this is like the perfect date you want to take Chris on if you're any women out there.
I'm impressed that you have empathy here, Chris. That you feel bad for the
animals. Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's they're already living a horrific existence of captivity. Like fuck.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Oh, couldn't get much worse than this.
Well,
three hots in a cot, right?
That shark was literally in a shark-sized tank.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's where is this? Yeah, these people suck.
No.
Yeah,
and they're just like, well, we're out of biz. Good luck, gang. Lights off.
This was Lyle's fish tank after he got home from the hospital. That's where he got it from.
It grew into its exact tank.
Dude, the first time, 100%. I had my kidney taken.
He was gone so long.
We waited.
I was like, you told me you'd feed him, you dick. I forgot, bro.
Oh,
by the way, the rats are back. God damn it. Why did I get out of the hospital?
How far are you guys into the video?
Okay, I'm going to skip to 12:20. I'm 2 minutes.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm going to skip to 12:20 and see what we got. You there, Chris?
Oh, I'm not watching.
Oh, okay. There. Oh, my God.
If you don't do your pussy.
It just shows.
Okay.
So the animals were blurred at first. Now they're not blurred. That's what we're seeing.
Yeah.
And these poor creatures. This is fucking awful.
Yeah, no, it's pretty horrible. But I figured it would be good for Chris.
I can't get over.
Appreciate you.
Well, it's because you made that fish comment earlier about my fish.
Okay, this shark could not have been alive.
No.
Originally.
No. I don't think.
Because it's not. That's not even.
No,
wait. So you're saying it was like a model shark or like a fucking
I'm saying
mummified?
Yeah, I'm wondering if it was like a dead already and mounted. Although it does look like it deteriorated. How could you put something in a cage that's exactly its size? Chris, I don't want to hear any kennel jokes here. But folks, if you don't want to watch this horrible footage, imagine. See, this looks like a museum display. It does not look like an aquarium. This one case. So I'm guessing that this shark was probably dead and maybe poorly
mounted.
Mounted on display. But who knows what's in these other?
Why would you do that? Wouldn't you just mount it outside of a fucking?
Although there are others that are in water.
Yeah.
This doesn't look like an aquarium. This looks like a museum of. I bet these animals were already dead. Because there's these other fish that are in similar.
Well, it's been abandoned for a long time.
I know, but they're not in tanks. They're in like completely deoxygenated. There's no tubing. They're just in like little tanks of water with like a museum tag underneath it, like this species is blah blah blah. If these creatures were alive here,
it could have been
on
taken.
display.
You got to realize it's like going into the Deaconess, that hasn't been touched for 10 years. People might have went through there and stole shit,
I guess I'm gonna hope that what this is a bunch of dead fish on display. Yeah, see, even like the little octopuses and squids, those are in like jars. They might have kept those alive, but I don't know. This seems like a museum to see dead animals, dead and stuffed animals.
Either way,
got abandoned. It is creepy.
Creepy spot to take a date to.
Troubling. Whew, yeah, creepy date,
Lyle,
indeed.
if we were on a date.
What? Going to the fish tank?
Go with you, Lyle. Hold me, baby.
Taking you to the tank, the torture tank.
Well, fuck, guys. Are we ready to do some weird trips?
I think so. I'm definitely going to need a quick pee break, refill my whisk, and
I'll do the same.
2 and 2.
I'll do the same.
Okay.
Hello.
Oh, is there anybody in
there? I told you guys about that whole Fire Stick thing, which I loved at first, but now it's just pissing me off because I have fiber, right? So there shouldn't be any latency, and it seems like when I'm watching shit, it says air to do it, and that's just not the normal.
Is it the audio that's off, or is it just like every time you hit a button,
it just stops playing and says playback error, and then what you do is you turn back a channel and go forward to that channel you're watching.
Does it go to that kind of weird blue screen?
No.
I get that a lot on Roku, where it's like content not available in your area or something.
Yeah.
And then it'll come back.
Well, it's not all about the speed of your internet. It's like there's all kinds of other shit going on out there downstream
I'm sure that's
just because you have fast internet doesn't make it's not going to make it any better.
And Roku seems flaky. Like even still, it just seems like it's not a terribly stable system.
My opinion of the Fire Sticks specifically is that they're manufactured really cheap.
I think so.
They want to crank these things out and get them in people's hands so they can buy the product. So I doubt they make very much money on them. So they're probably cheap. Like I've had a couple of I think it is what's the Amazon one? The Fire Stick, right?
I keep
I've got 2 of those, and I've had to send one back because it was fucking just not working. And they made a new one that they released.
5 Rokus in the last 10 years.
Well, Amazon released a new one. It's like a 4K, like beefed up one that has a bit of a processor in it. I want to get one just to see if it's better.
They're cheap.
Yeah,
on Amazon.
That's what they need to be, because they're trying to do major processing on what equates to a thumb drive, and I just don't think it's quite.
Just need a little bit more. Just a bit, like 20% more.
Chris, you have all kinds of consoles and stuff. I'm surprised. Don't you just stream stuff through your Xbox? That's what I use for everything. Like I don't why would you use a Fire Stick?
Well, you have TV. You got channels you could watch, news, and all that stuff.
You can get all that shit on your Xbox too.
It's a great question. Anything I watch right on my smart TV. But I have a 4-year-old and a small TV in my living room. I let him watch it on, so I have it plugged into that. And sometimes I'll take it into the garage and plug it into a computer monitor and watch TV while I'm like working out. I can watch football and shit in there. It's like cable that travels. I've taken it on vacation before. You can take it places, and now you have Netflix in your fucking weird ass motel.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. Anywho, let's do. Oh, I gotta get my. Sorry, I had it ready.
Never mind. I was gonna ask Chris which one you had, but obviously you don't. The 4K is on sale for like $28 on Amazon.
It's the one I'm talking about is it's like a 4K Max or something. It's like a beefier version.
Pretty sure it's the same I have.
I think it's like $120 though. I when I looked into it about a year ago.
It's normally $60, and then.
No, I think there's another one beyond that, but I might be wrong.
They've got a bunch of different versions of that shit, varying from like $20 all the way up to, like you said, like 100 something probably.
Yeah, they do.
It's more like it's more like the Amazon's version of like Apple TV or something, I think.
Sure. Exactly. Yeah.
My favorite part about the Roku, and there's different models, and I have one model that has it and one that doesn't. The Roku remote that has a headphone jack in it is the shit, because I don't do Bluetooth headphones, but when you pop the headphone jack in, it does kill the audio on the TV. So it's great for like if you're laying in bed and you want to I don't have, for some reason I lost my TV remote, so I can do the timer to have it just shut itself off in a couple hours, but when I fall asleep with the audio, it's no good. But I love having that headphone jack, and I wish every remote of every device had a headphone jack in it. Because what's cool about that too is you can hook it up to an auxiliary and play it through speakers, and I do that in my bedroom when I'm entertaining.
Well, if that tickles your fancy, you should know that I believe the Fire Stick will actually Bluetooth anywhere you want.
I don't have Bluetooth. I only have one Bluetooth speakers, but I don't
like
do Bluetooth.
10 of them.
I don't have Bluetooth anything else.
I got one for my bathroom. I got 3 pairs of headphones that are Bluetooth. I don't know how you get by.
I need to move up.
I'm gonna get you one. I'm gonna get you one as a gift because it's kind of life-changing to have. Because first off, they sound fucking great. Like the bass is present in these little boom boxes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the size of a brick.
Well, I have one. Yeah, no, it's a JBL and it sounds great, but I only have one, and it's dying.
But you use it? Do you okay? It's dying.
Yeah, I use it all the time, but it's dying now. It doesn't hold a charge.
Okay.
All my batteries do that. Anyway,
all right.
I will accept your gift, though. You send me that brick. You send me that bass brick.
I will.
And no chocolate, because I got a dog.
No, I can make no promises, motherfucker.
All right. Well, shall we kick this thing off?
They call me the Canine Killer. Yeah, let's do it.
It's Weird Trivia with Christopher F. Hahn.
That's me.
Florida, who thinks square shit in nature. Don't get me started on the goddamn brown hair. It's Weird Trivia that might get Christopher fired.
Still a little surreal to hear my voice just a little bit higher. It's just a little higher, but it is different. Okay.
Wow. That's just so great. Every time I'm smiling, it gets me pumped. It's well worth it.
3, maybe 5 more episodes, and everyone's going to have that song stuck in their head forever.
Yep.
At least a part of it. All right.
Okay. Let's see. Last week, TJ just fucking raw dogged you. Just dry entry. He just took it to Pound Town. Didn't even hit the brakes. Didn't even pump them. Just pumped mercy. You guys.
T No Mercy J.
That was great. So we're going to set this back to traditional order tonight. Ron, John Mark, and then Lyle, so he can analyze his heart out. Ronster, I mean, it felt fitting, even though I'm going to have Jeff on sometime in the future, if that felt fitting that you should represent him tonight again, so he can earn, some expedited but bundled shipping on his.
Listen, I'm a sucker for not only saved shipping prices, but only one trip to the post office. That's the real hang up here, folks. Let's be honest. I hate fucking going to the post office.
All right, so do him proud. Do him proud, Ronster.
I'm going to try.
No, you will. I know you'll do well. I feel it. John Mark, you're going to be playing for our friend Jacob Roberts.
All right.
Jake the Snake Roberts?
Maybe. Lyle, you're going to be playing for...
I was in the bathroom at the same time as Jake the Snake a couple weekends ago.
Really?
I did not see his snake.
Who's Jake the Snake?
Boy.
This sounds...
You had the perfect opening line, John Mark, and you didn't utilize it. Here, this is where Jake the Snake hangs out.
No, I was
before you even get it halfway
out. I was selling toys a couple weeks ago, and he, for some reason, he was there, probably because there's a bunch of wrestling toys that are, because wrestling toys are huge. So Jake the Snake was there signing autographs and taking pictures of people.
Interesting. Okay.
Oh, Jake the Snake. Okay.
Jake the Snake. Oh, Jake the Snake. Woo!
Yeah, Jake.
Oh,
the Snake.
The Snake.
Okay, that's good.
Don't be confused. It's Jake the Snake.
Exactly. Lyle, you're going to be playing for Sarah Ray Shields.
All right.
Hopefully it's not my turn to kill her dog. It's somebody else's. Somebody else's can.
That's true.
Can
have a crack at it. We can finish the job that Chris failed.
Never send a little boy to do a man's job.
TikTok, Sarah's dog. TikTok.
He said candies. We said hand grenades.
I don't like this Rod Rast. Here, Rad Reeple.
Unfunny Reens.
That's good.
A callback there to one of our favorite reviews, as it were. All right. We all know who we're playing for here. I got 4 questions for you. Pretty traditional stuff. Let's get this started. Now, question 1, weed-related question. And as this is my little kingdom, we're going to make this worth 2 points.
Excellent.
So stay sharp here.
What does that mean, Lyle?
This...
You sneak off to the bathroom.
2 points.
All right. Thank you.
By the way, which one of you gets up to sneak off to pee every now and again with the really squeaky door?
It's not me. It's John Mark.
No, John Mark?
Could be me.
You're the one with the squeaky door?
My bathroom doesn't have a door. Sorry.
Huh. Somebody, so Sarah was listening to the show and heard, I've got 2 doors that squeak, a lot like the door that was squeaking on the episode. And I hear it from time to time. I just assume it's maybe it's not the bathroom, but I always assume it's someone sneaking out to take a quick pee. But there's a door that somebody has that squeaks just like mine. And she was like, "Is there a ghost in your house?" And I heard it.
Here, let me see if you can tell me can you identify this squeak?
Right.
Oh my!
That's the squeak.
Yeah.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
Here we go. Ready?
That's creepy. It's like a haunted house door.
That might have been it. Well, you opened it dramatically. Open it more utilitarian.
Okay, like you would if you're just walking in.
Yeah, and then close it again. I bet that's it. So that's not you sneaking out to pee?
No, that's the door to outside.
Okay, all right.
That's why I sneak out to poo, motherfucker.
Well, we still solved the mystery. I figured it was, it had to be you or Lyle, but anyway, yeah, no ghosts in my house, so we can move on.
Ghost free. All right. Okay, weed-related question worth 2 points, guys. And I will admit, as I was writing this, ironically, I really struggled to remember if I've done this question or not.
Oh, there's probably 50 of them by now. It doesn't matter. We won't remember.
This specifically, but like recently too, I was like, oh God, I didn't do this on the last one, did I? Oh well. Okay.
It's like writing a song. Is this a Beatles song or is this a brand new song? Who knows
am
at this
I
point?
A genius?
I just go na 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 for like 20 minutes, but in the right order.
Hey, dude.
It's brand new. I made it up. Different song.
Okay, this famous stoner recently made the news after a 2014 interview they did with Howard Stern went viral again. The stoner gave some advice to Stern, who said he would like to enjoy marijuana more, but it made him feel too paranoid. The response to this was to keep peppercorns in your home and to pop a few in your mouth whenever anxiety started harshing your buzz. It turns out there's absolutely some science to this, as there's a chemical found in peppercorns that will neutralize some of THC's effects in your body, kind of immediately, too. I've tried this a few times, to be honest. It does work. I don't know. It's kind of interesting.
This
I just
whole
don't really
peppercorn, like if you would get
whole peppercorn
ready to grind.
You don't chew them up or anything?
Just kind of chew on them. They don't like puff into... They crush up in your mouth, right? But they don't like grind into pepper.
Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, you can do it. Just kind of chew. They're kind of chewy, and it does taste like fucking pepper. Anyway, so who was this famous stoner that gave this advice to Howard Stern? Was it Willie Nelson? Was it Snoop Dogg?
Peppercorn again.
Right.
Always use a double peppercorn.
Always use a double dip of peppercorn.
Is it Neil Young?
Pepper was the corn that they gave me. Neil Young. What do I got for him? Hello, pepper in the corn. I don't know.
Good. No, you sound too good though.
Do something.
You gotta sound more.
Hello, Pepper in the corn.
Better.
Better.
You took me there.
Better. You better Neil Young experience.
Or was it Woody Harrelson?
So peppercorn.
Yeah, no. Fat man can't peppercorn.
but with Woody's voice.
Okay, so again, Willie Nelson, Snoop Dogg, Neil Young, or Woody Harrelson. One of these guys gave this advice. Total
fucking guess, of course, and any of those play. I feel like Snoop might be the green herring. I am intrigued. Willie Nelson is certainly an outspoken enthusiast of pot, and I don't know if you know this, but my mom met Willie Nelson, and she tried to make sure that that Willie was saved, and Willie, God bless him, was like, "Oh yes, I've known Jesus my whole life," and my mom, God bless her, making sure that old Willie was going to go to heaven.
Oh, that's so sweet.
any day now, Jesus.
You know. You get closer to Jesus if you're high.
I think so. Nature's. I don't know where I'm going with that. Nature's nature. I like Willie Nelson. I'm forgetting a couple already.
Willie, Snoop, Neil, or Woody Harrelson.
Neil and Woody. Boy, this is tough, but I'm going with my heart. And the name that is stamped on my leather belt is Willie. So I'm gonna call that a sign for us, Jeff. I'm going with Willie. And it's due to my belt, so take that for what it is.
Oh, bye. Okay. John Mark.
Well, I'll see your Willie, and I'll raise you a Woody.
Oh, interesting. Two dick names, and then we got two dick herrings here, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't even notice that.
I don't know, honestly. Like, it could be anybody, as far as I know, but I don't know.
That is an interesting name to pop up. Yeah. I don't consider him a famous stoner, but I don't follow stoners.
Oh, he definitely is.
Okay, Lyle.
Well, I kind of see that. Like,
maybe I'm thinking of Matthew McConaughey.
You might be all wrong.
I'm sticking with my guess. Fuck it.
So I've been smoking pot since I was 15 years old.
Did you say porn?
I've been smoking porn. I think I almost said bowl.
My two favorite things. It's like peanut butter and jelly, man. What happened?
I don't smoke pot. I smoke a little Willie and a little Woody, and that's all. Call it a day. All right. Back to my Lincoln Navigator.
Like my pepper
Fun frontier.
Oh my God. It doesn't stop.
I love my Matthew McConaughey. It's not spot on, but it does the trick.
No. Yeah.
Much like my Willie and Woody. Lyle, where are you going? It's never spot on, but it does the trick.
I'm going to make it not a family game and do the old Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, that's a safe bet. Someone should go with Snoopy Doob.
Well, it's Howard Stern, you know. He has pretty much a coveted of pretty much, I don't know, big celebrities. And Snoop's Snoop's all over the place. I can see, a couple of the other people on there, but I'll just go with that.
That reminds me of, I think this was proved to be a myth, but back in the day when we would take acid, there was the rumor that if you took orange juice, if you drank orange juice, it would pull you out of a high.
What it was is it would make you trip faster and harder.
That's what I heard. Is that
you use
to make you.
Yeah, you use.
But it's all bullshit.
No.
I think it's a herring.
Stop. What you're supposed to do is
I was gonna science this.
No, I'm telling you what it is. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to use frozen orange juice that comes in the can, and you eat that frozen.
Mm-hmm.
And then you drop your ass, or you do it like afterwards. But it's supposed to.
I'm going to look it up, and we'll get to it in a bit. But let's move on for now.
Okay. Question 2. In 2014, the CIA got its first and only official CIA Twitter account. Their very first tweet was this: A, we can neither confirm nor deny that this is our first tweet.
I like it.
Yeah.
B, ever feel like someone's watching you? C,
oh boy,
we're better than at MI5. We can't tell you why. That's classified.
I like and hate this now.
Or D, 1 million retweets, and we release who really killed JFK.
Oh, little rest guy. Little rest guy.
Again, 2014, the CIA got its first and only official CIA Twitter account. Their first tweet was, A, we can neither confirm nor deny that this is our first tweet. B, ever feel like someone's watching you? C, we're better than at MI5, but we can't tell you why that's classified. Or D, 1 million retweets, and we will release who really killed JFK.
MI5's European version of it.
I can't imagine them being ballsy enough to do the JFK thing. I want to believe.
That's like almost...
can't imagine them doing that.
That's great.
But this is a story. A is we can neither confirm nor deny. B is...
Ever feel like someone's watching you?
That's another thing that I wonder if they would have that sense of humor. I'm going to say A. I think that's the safest. Remind me C real quick.
We're better than at MI5, but we can't tell you why that's classified.
I could see that one too, but I'm going to stick with A here.
We can neither confirm nor deny that this is our first tweet. Okay, put you down for an A. John Mark.
I'm also going with A, and I just want to say that all of this shit, like these types of things, are 100% fucking propaganda, and I hate it.
What does that mean?
It is new propaganda. It's a new take on an old thing, which is
propaganda.
Reach out to the public, and we're on your side. We're not the big bad voodoo daddy that you've heard about. Big brother, after all, right?
You have ice cream on this side.
A kinder, gentler Central Intelligence Agency. Fuck off with that bullshit.
Okay.
Friendly white folk looking in your shit.
That's why I put.
Am I on a list now?
Yeah, now we all are. Thanks, John Mark.
Yeah.
Great.
I've probably been on one for like the last.
First year crackling now.
Years.
This.
Lyle, what are you leaning toward?
Next time you crackle, just say it's your oxygen, though. Okay.
It's my oxygen, you dick.
I'm going to make it a family game and go with A.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, I'll put you all down for A here. Let's move on to question number 3.
Before we move on, real quick, here's something that I found on doubleblind.com. It says, some seem to treat orange juice as a cure-all for negative reactions to psychedelics. Blah, 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 some Reddits, and it sums up to say there have been no scientific studies to prove any effect.
Of course not.
Orange juice, but in LSD. See, it's funny that you guys heard that it enhances. This one clearly points out that the rumors are on both sides, because I always heard that you took it as your safety blanket. That was your escape hatch, like, oh, this is a bad trip. I want out. Take a few swigs.
What?
Now, I will say this: you steer more than people realize when you are on LSD. This is why you're so susceptible with where and who you're with when you do it. But so, if you think you're drinking a magic potion, the psychosomatic effect of that could totally be enough to prove that point. But that's a mind trick. But who knows? Maybe that's something intangible that you couldn't prove. I don't know. Science is weird
vitamin
that way.
C is good for you no matter what. So fucking
it can't hurt you, right? Drink a little orange juice with your LSD. You're gonna get your days C. All right, sorry.
Fight off the scurvy.
Scurvy nerve? You don't want that.
Okay. I got you all for that one. Question 3. For the first time ever, the FDA has authorized a condom that's specifically designed for A, anal sex. E,
specifically
it's
designed.
got like poop fucking windshield wipers or something.
He's just got brown lube, so it just takes care of the awkward social.
No, it comes like that, it leaves like that.
It's like, look, we can't know what came, we can't know what went. Smart, if you think about it. That is smart advertising. This Trojan horse arrived with as many as it left with.
Nothing's changed. B, it's a condom that's the FDA authorized for masturbating.
flip that baby inside out, son.
Why?
Safe.
I don't.
So you don't get lube on your
Yeah,
hand.
you don't need a towel.
Yeah.
Is it C? Specifically,
John Marks. What?
What?
Is it C?
I feel I weep for this world coming on.
A condom that's specifically designed for micro penises.
Oh, the tiny ones.
No, that's thoughtful. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or is it D? An FDA authorized condom that's specifically designed for people who regularly take Viagra.
Huh.
Thought-provoking, isn't it?
This one
Isn't it?
won't dry out for 4 hours.
There's really only one of these that makes any sense to me.
Okay, well,
I wish you were answering first because I'd copy it. I'm going to go with the small dick one because I think that's got to be an issue. I mean, if you got a bigger dick, you're going to need a bigger condom. That's been taken care of for a long time. Why wouldn't it be the opposite be true?
They have water balloons you can buy at the dollars.
I was thinking of those little finger condoms.
Lot cheaper.
Crippler coats? Isn't that what you call those, Lyle?
No.
We're being insensitive here. Some people do actually suffer from, suffer maybe a stretch, no pun intended. But, some people absolutely have tiny wieners.
Stretch.
The good news is, for all you tiny wienered folk out there, most of what the ladies and I suppose even the men need getting done happens not terribly deep inside. Of course, it differs.
Yeah.
You can definitely get some shit done with any old dick. I'm a firm believer. Again, no pun intended. But I think I have not ever seen.
Just a flaccid believer, though.
Just like in my refractory period believer.
My God, flaccid believer would be a great band name.
Oh, for opening for Ween, I believe. By the way, I saw that Ween is playing with Primus, and Matt and Trey from South Park are also part of the show. It's a 25th anniversary show at Red Rocks in Colorado. I don't know anything more. I don't know if
That's pretty insane.
Matt and Trey are performing, but they're on the bill. We know they're musicians, so yeah. I am definitely considering a pilgrimage to them shits. Anywho, yeah, tiny condom, hold me closer, tiny condom. Because that's the idea. You need it to hug. A condom don't do you no good. There's a very common thing that happens with boys that are looking to impress. So they buy Magnums so they can say, hey, I'm a Magnum guy. And then
whoops,
it fucking slides all over the place, and they got to hold it. And it's like, no, you get
fucks it right inside of her.
Get the you just fucking a loose rubber glove inside a vagina. Yeah, get the condom that fits, and and fuck them shits. And that's no Johnny Cochran, but
fuck. Okay. On that note, John Mark.
Hey, what was the number for that? Was it C? Was the micro penis one?
C was.
I guess I'm gonna have to go with that too.
Okay.
If that's not real, it should be.
Yeah, I need B and D real quick.
B, I bet you too, buddy. B was masturbating, and D was people who take Viagra on the reg.
Oh, wow. I'm going to go with B.
Masturbating.
Yeah. That
wouldn't
surprise me. Dry on the outside, wet on the inside.
Well, the thing is like fleshlights have become like hugely popular, but they're like $100, $200,
Mm-hmm.
And
are they?
It's the same
for the name brand ones. Yeah, there's knockoffs, but the name brands ones are spendy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but it's the same thing. If you had a condom that was, you could fuck, you'd use your imagination, and you still get the same out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Boring.
I like that there's no imagination required for using a fleshlight.
I wish you guys could see my fucking skeptical face right now.
I'm kind of glad we can't.
We can sometimes hear it.
Yeah.
I'm rattling with skepticism.
I can see it from here, though, now, damn it.
I'm literally angry with rage.
Well, I told you guys about my fleshlight experience, right?
No, I don't think you did, but I'm all fucking ears now. out, bro.
It's not a big story, but I got it and spent the money on it. And this was I'd just broken up and it was still a pandemic year. And it's like, I don't think I'm going to be out fucking around anytime soon. So I'm going to use some of this unemployment money to get me a fleshlight. And yeah, I was pretty disappointed with it. It felt amazing, to like finger and like, when I first got it, I was like immediately started touching. I was like, oh man, oh boy. And then it's just like it was so disappointing. But I guess humble brag, I suppose. But it's entirely too tight. And I guess most people are going to want it tight, but I even tried cutting it open, which was a really weird psychological experience.
Oh my God, what you fucking
like X-Acto knifing?
No, you shaved it down.
I did. I split it right down the middle, and it just like popped open. I'm like, I'm feeling real weird about what I'm doing right here on a Thursday night in my kitchen.
Baby Jesus.
And it just never worked, no matter how much lube I pumped into it. I tried it with a condom. And it was just like, no, this is just choking the life out of my dick. Vaginas are magical. And for you to even attempt to fake it, it's got to be something pretty special. I think that's why the next level ones are so expensive, because there's a lot involved, that the muscles of a vagina, they grip you, but they also give. These things,
how many years ago did you stick your dick in this thing? Like, how long ago was this? 10 years?
No, like last year.
Oh God! Okay.
I just got it during the pandemic.
How did we not talk about this? I don't even know you.
I think I might have brought it up and then we just got sidetracked. But
how would that be possible?
there's no real story to it except that it just was. Yeah. I don't know. It felt like somebody was standing on my dick. I don't get it because I'm telling you, if you feel this thing with your fingers, you think it's going to be absolutely as close to the real thing as you could possibly get. But yeah, once you're past the gate, the party inside is not what they promised out front, because then it's just too tight and it doesn't give, it doesn't flex with you. Again, like the amazing muscles inside a human being will just like that's all part of that sensation, It's like closing in on you, and then it gives a little bit, and then you work your way in, and there's just none of that. It's one note, and so it didn't work for me. Disappointed. Gotcha. It's collecting dust on my shelf, and I can't even resell it.
Sounds like a great Strange Trip prize.
Like, for sale, one cut fleshlight. Used
good news,
gently,
Jeff.
Gently used, not so gently cut.
No. I got good news, Jeff. It's in the mail.
We just put your prize together. Mm-hmm. You already got a good cut started. You might need to. Anyway.
Since we're on the topic, the one that I got was kind of like the higher end one.
Yeah, you got a totally different thing.
Yeah, this is like a fleshlight, but you plug it in USB, and it has servos. There's like 8 or 9 servos that go back and forward.
Yeah, see, that's doing some shit.
Yeah,
this doesn't do anything except lay there.
Well, this is the bad thing about it is same thing with yours. It'd lock up and the motors wouldn't run.
Yeah,
is girth. Yeah. So like you're kind of like stuck putting it on the back of the chair and dry humping it.
Well, I did see that there was a bigger size. Just like there are condoms that are a bigger size. Going back to this question, I don't think I'm going to drop the money to try that. I think that's a one and done thing. I'm just not really a sex toy guy. I've tried a few over the years, but I don't know. I'd rather just I got no problem just jacking off. I never did. I was never jacking off and thought, this is bullshit. It's like, this thing is pretty neat. It's still kind of neat to me.
It's like 4 out of 4 stars. Would do again. We'll do it again.
We'll do again.
What time is it?
Have done again.
I'm doing it right now.
Would did.
Okay. Well, question 4, guys, is here, and it ain't gonna disappoint. But Lyle, I hope you are fucking prepared, sir, because you better get pumped, motherfuckers.
I'm ready.
You better
Don't
get
miss
ready
this one.
because, again, this question is not only a listener-submitted question, but it's also a goddamn Florida Daily Dubs. So we're gonna do this as the 3-pointer, motherfucker. Give me 3 points, Lyle.
3 points. Wow. 3 points.
What happened to triple points?
Oh, triple points.
Oh, God.
Like, it was like 3 points. Instant. Wow. It's such a smart-ass, this effect. It's like, nope, I'm going to tweak this word. And just ignore the other ones.
We really need a compilation of these at some point.
Back to back
oh
to
my
back.
God. Yeah. Okay, all right. Well, 3 points are on the line here. Triple points, if you will. Okay. Thank you, Katie Surgery Jeff, for sending this one over to me. Back in January, 2 young women aged 27 and 29 got into an argument with a man and ended up assaulting him.
Watch your rattling, John Mark.
No.
And you're yawning.
Yeah, God,
oh, make me
salty motherfucker.
double factor.
It's like I can't help it. I get tired after I get angry.
Yeah. So exhausting.
It's exhausting hating all.
Anyways, they were arrested and both face felony charges for the assault. But the real meat of the story here is what they assaulted this man with. What did they assault this guy with that led to their arrest? Now, I do have their mugshot here for y'all.
Who submitted this question?
Katie Surgery Jeff, if you can ask.
Okay.
Let's see, and I made sure to turn live on this fucking photo off so Ronster doesn't get sneak peek at anything in the background or anything.
Should have never told you about
mugshot. You shouldn't have. I fucking could have got some gold there. All right, that's their mugshot. What did they assault this man with?
Man.
They seemed very happy about it.
Was it A, one of the women's emotional support ferret?
Oh no, like in Beastmaster. They can be weaponized.
Is it B, with loads of glitter? Just ham.
Oh, that's an evil weapon because it's forever.
It's kind of forever, isn't it?
No getting rid of glitter. Trust me. As someone who put on drag shows and burlesque shows, yeah, that building will be sweeping glitter for the rest of their existence.
Yeah, if you spend any time in the fucking 80s at a strip club or even the early 90s,
you're still carrying that with you today.
So many venues have no glitter rules because it's a nightmare. It's such a nightmare. That's
probably terrible for the environment too. I mean,
I don't
Jesus
even know
Christ.
what it is. Probably plastic.
Christo.
Yeah.
I didn't get the right email. What I got is a picture of a chick and like the story and then a video and then some chick that looks like she got acne. Is that the right one?
You just should be seeing 2 mugshots.
Yeah, those 2 women assaulted this guy, a guy.
Oh, okay. I thought you said mugshot of a dude. So
No. So yeah, they assaulted this guy. What did they assault him with? Was it one of the woman's emotional support ferret, loads of glitter, their boobs, or their breath?
Oh no! In a pandemic, that's felony. It's got to be a felony.
That's a biological weapon.
That's
tough
for that one. Yeah.
Well, I got to think about this because it was fan submitted, and it's Florida. I'm going to go bold here. I am leaning toward the ferret, but being attacked by boobs. Is that really an attack? we go through these quandaries, these moral quandaries where, of course, if a dude attacks a woman with his balls, yep, absolutely an attack.
No.
But if 2 women attack a man with their boobs,
I would call that.
We can't know in this exact instance.
That was asshole.
I'm gonna stick with ferret, but I'm leaning toward boobs.
When in doubt.
Fuck you, ferret. Yeah.
Okay.
Look at their face, though.
No.
Those are the faces of 2 gals that just beat a dude with their tits. I'm changing my mind. I'm going with the boobs.
And let me tell you, Ron has seen those faces before.
I've seen that look, man.
Man.
Okay,
and
John
it
Mark.
wasn't unfair at night.
I'm going with breath. It's just so outside of
gross.
the norm that
it does make sense as a modern story too. That is a weapon in a time of a pandemic. We've heard many stories about people spitting.
I didn't even think about that angle. Yeah.
Okay, Lyle, what you got, baby?
I would like to say that I would like to be the same as John Mark and say it was the breath.
All right.
That's my school teacher mode.
Your intercom. Yeah. Can you say, Ron Evans, please come to the principal's office and take me back to any year in any school of my youth?
Ronald Evans, please come to the principal's office. Ronald Evans?
Yep. That works. That did it. That's what you call an unkink. I have an any dick boner right now, folks. Any. Okay. Yeah. That was more effective than I even gave cred.
Well, the reason why I say it is because they both look sickly. You know what I mean? They're all pale and kind of just.
Well, it is a mugshot.
They don't look healthy. So.
I don't think that they look too bad. I think they have. It's just, it's a mugshot. You know, most of us aren't ready. But let's see where we are.
Okay, question 1. This famous stoner made the news again after a interview with Howard Stern surfaced, where he told Howard Stern, you can suffer through the side effects of marijuana if you just keep peppercorn in your house, pop a few peppercorns in your mouth, and you'll be fine, man. Just chill out. We're all just looking for a heart of gold.
Oh, no.
Neil Young.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Damn.
Woody Harrelson is a famous stoner, by the way.
Hello, pepper in the corn.
Nobody got that right.
Nobody
got.
Everybody's living in peppercorn world.
In 2014, the CIA got its very first and only official CIA Twitter account. Sorry, John Mark. And their very first tweet was, "We can neither confirm nor deny that this is our first tweet." Ron, John Mark, and Lau, you all got that correct for a point. You're all on the board here with 1 point.
Yeah, no one got Neil Young, right?
No one got Neil Young.
All right.
Nope.
All right. Anybody's game.
Anybody's game.
Clean slate.
Okay, for the first time ever, the FDA has authorized a condom that's specifically designed for anal sex. Now, here's the deal, guys. This is the meat of the story.
See, that was what I was first. That was the first thing that I was like, maybe, but like, why? But then I don't know.
Here's the deal.
Brown herring.
I don't believe that this condom has any difference in design or lubrication or anything from a standard condom. They've just pushed it to the FDA as one because there has never been one. And so
marketing.
There's a lot of people that, well, not only it's actually no. I see where you're at with that, but what the hope is that there's a lot of people that are participating in anal sex that won't use something that's not FDA approved.
Sure.
And they're hoping that with this, even a small percentage of people will.
Are you fucking serious?
Are regular condoms?
Who's doing
no,
fucking is
they're not FDA. They're not
approval?
Well,
are you don't fucking joking?
Well, you don't know.
Poo-poo on your wiener.
Wait a minute. I'm so confused.
So bad.
Are you saying that regular condoms?
Oh no, it couldn't possibly. It's not FDA approved.
Are regular condoms not FDA approved? Period.
Listen, baby, I can't fuck you, but this is FDA approved.
Wait, I'm so ready to go. I just got to get up in you. Let's read the label. Let's read the label. I know some people do.
You stole my heart and my dick.
Now wait. Okay. I need clarity here.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, I can see that I am 100% cognizant of the fact I'm sure there's people out there that is a concern for. But I have to imagine that percentage of the people that are
has to be small, right?
Right? Like,
sure,
is that
but
even
I don't know. But maybe they're just even like the positive press it's receiving might there's something that may I don't know. You got to be hopeful that this is a positive thing and not just some marketing thing.
Okay.
But
what I need clarity on is our condoms FDA approved at all, like for vaginal sex, and just not So they're not FDA. They're not recommended for anal sex.
They're not FDA recommended. It's what they.
So this company or this what they're doing is they're, I guess, as part of getting it approved, is testing and showing that it's effective.
I wish I had more information on that. It'd be interesting. I'm sure they.
We must delve deeper into this.
They submitted it, with the intention for that. So I'm pretty sure
people have just been using condoms for anal sex or not.
Yeah.
Just like people use condoms for regular sex or not. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I wonder how effective they are. I mean, I haven't done a lot of anal sex, so I don't have the data on, there went another one, one way or the other again. But yeah, interesting.
I would think.
Well, sorry, small penis people. I was really rooting for you on that one. Chris. Wishful thinking on that one, Chris.
It's not micro.
For some reason, I feel like I've said these words out loud several times on the podcast in recent times. Anal fucking just was never something that I really. If that's somebody's bag and they really want it, sure, let's go ahead on. But I'm fine with other things. I don't dislike it. It's just some people are like, that's their shit. The puns are really just helping themselves to the feast tonight. But interesting. Yeah, and some interesting questions I'd like answered there. But so where are we at now?
I think we're all still at 1.
Nobody went with
that at 1 point. Yep.
Interesting game.
Nobody went with that. Okay, question 4. Again, worth 3 points. Can I get a triple point, Lyle?
Triple point.
There it is.
Fuck yeah.
That felt
I didn't
a little like
just about to fucking drop that bass.
Felt like a Razzling match.
That was good.
Yeah, like a Prodigy song.
Okay. 2 young women. Thank you again, Katie Surgery Jeff, for sending this to me. Back in January, 2 young women. I didn't say where. I don't remember. Doesn't matter. Age 27 and 29. I think it was like New Orleans. They got into an argument with a man and ended up assaulting him. They were arrested and both faced felony charges for the assault. You saw the mugshot, but what was the weapon? It's like a game of Clue, boys. But the weapon was loads of glitter. I'm talking bags of glitter.
Damn.
They just kept throwing it on him.
I thought about that one, but
isn't it kind of like it can be like glass or like sand? It's like it's abrasive.
Well, you can't get it off. He's going to be wearing.
But if you get that in your person, like in your eye or in your nose, son, that's assault. What would they charge with? Do you know?
I don't know.
And I thought this was a Florida Daily Dubs. Was this not in Florida?
You know they got charged?
Assault with a fabulous weapon.
You know they got charged for
illegal use of flare.
Fuck
glitter. I am on team fuck glitter.
We're in an interesting position where we're in a 3-way tie here, and I've got a tiebreaker in mind. Now, a couple weeks back, we talked about that TikToker that went viral for farting in jars and selling them before she got sick from her diet.
That's right. From her,
I think she was selling it.
Fiber.
I think she was selling like $50 a jar or something like that for. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
How much money did she make? Now I want you to open up a singular text to me. Don't text the group.
Okay.
Whoever's closest, not Price is Right way rules, just whoever's closest is going to win this. How much money did she make farting in jars?
All like over her whole career?
Overall. Like what did she net doing it before she had to retire?
Jeez. Okay.
That's hard.
You're doing the math and doing the toots at the same time.
What an amazing time we live in.
Imagine her cupboards is full of it.
Yeah. The cupboards.
Cupboards full of beans.
I wonder if you know how you can get fucked out a little? I wonder if her ass is getting a little farted out.
Prolapse.
Just a little.
You like a little bit of
little loose.
A little bit of flapping going on.
Yeah, a little bit of butt flaps, little mud flaps.
Oh man,
man! I heard the most fucked up thing about a prolapse anus on a podcast recently. Let me tell you,
it's risky.
Apparently,
like a monkey.
Apparently, because sometimes something will happen, either like a poop or a sexual encounter that is a difficult one, and it'll cause that area to kind of like extrude the way. Yeah, that shouldn't, right? And you can't just. It's not something that you can just push back in. You need medical assistance.
I'm sure they tried.
but
I've tried.
But I guess a trick something they do in the ER. A nurse called in and left this tidbit and said it's 100% true. Is they sprinkle sugar on it and it like sucks right back in. Like something about that makes a prolapsed anus just like suck right back into place. So they just like keep like granular sugar in the ER for things like that. Isn't that wild?
Prolapse pro tip.
That is pretty crazy.
Always keep a little bit of shug next to your bed. Yeah. Vigorous in the old back door.
I wonder if it has anything to do with the fact that like apparently sometimes when you're like like in the hospital or something and you're having trouble moving your bowels, they sometimes will give you something really sweet sugar because it triggers what they call the dumping reflex. I wonder if it's like a similar type of thing that just like causes those muscles to do something, right? Like
I need you to clarify in your answer. Is that the entire amount, or is there supposed to be some zeros after that?
$10.
I'm talking about the entire, like, before she retired, she made this much money overall selling
not per jar.
Yeah.
Oh.
Total.
He told us how much he made per jar.
Mathematically calculate this out. How much were the jars?
I don't know. I think I assume they were about $50 a jar from what I remember. I might be wrong, but yeah.
Where did I put 50? Bam, bam, and then bam, bam. So, okay.
One.
Carry the zero.
I'm going to add because I'm not sure about that.
You could just take the gas, too.
No, we're going to go this.
All right, good. I'm glad you
carry the 4.
There's a calculation happening, and I'm curious to see
the remedial
how we got to it.
Okay.
Well, I just did it by 50, and then I just added 500. Yeah. For, a little leeway there.
Yeah. For
50 by 50, just added 500. Not guessing. He's not guessing, Chris. He's doing math.
How dare you?
Logical.
This is a very scientific
explainable math.
What?
And then I divided it by how much 16 cats weigh and why we hit a reminder that Lyle and I, not just once, not two, but 3 years running, we're in the same remedial math class.
That's why I use my calculator on my phone.
They retired our chairs.
Okay. Well, so much is on the line here. Let's get down to brass tacks and see what happened. Lyle came in a little low at $3,500. Ronster said $100,000. John Mark said $560,000. The correct answer was $200,000. So Ronster, you were the closest. Nice. $200,000. She tooting in jars.
Tooting in jars.
Shitting's extra.
Yeah, that is extra. Sometimes you get an oopsie jar.
So,
it goes on the brown market.
So as we would have it, Ronster is going to win tonight, which means Jeff Hall is our winner. I love it. Fitting.
Yeah, that is fitting. Glad we could give you some joy.
Sorry for your loss, man.
On a tough week. A weird way to give you a little bit of joy, but I suppose in the end, one last final pun, I suppose. There's no wrong way to do it. So congrats. Oh,
congrats. Nice. You will be in championship round, when we have it next, as TJ will represent herself.
Can't wait for that. Well, that was fun. That was a fun round.
It's a good one. Yeah.
Well, let's quickly, since we are running long here, get to our final segment. I think I'm going to go first here because I made it clear that I already knew and loved this album when John Mark brought it to our attention. And then we will get Lyle and Chris's opinion. I think that'll be more interesting. I'll just say that I do love the album. I love the eclectic nature of it. And I love the backstory, some of which I knew. John Mark provided us with more than I knew. But, I mean, it's practically a kooky science fiction paranormal film waiting to happen, set to music. But I really thought that the unique concept of this album was building your own samples by performing them. And sometimes they just chopped up the performances, but you're essentially recording them and then sampling them. So they are samples, but you also recorded them. So it kind of reminds me of DJ Swamp, who was Beck's DJ for a long time. Maybe he still is. He actually creates his own beats and samples and loops and shit, and then he presses his own records, and that's what he manipulates on stage and on his albums. And it's kind of funny because he gets a little shit from the turntablism world, as if that's somehow a cheat. But you can stand on that principle if you want. But I actually think it's way more innovative and interesting than, you know, what every other 10 million DJs are out there doing. And I think this is a similar thing where it's a unique take on the same sort of idea. But one thing that always sticks with me about this album, and I'm curious if you guys get where I'm going with this, because I always say that texture is a big thing with music for me. And a lot of people go a little cross-eyed when you start talking about the texture of a recording or production. But, you know, it's just like anything from the mic placement on an acoustic guitar that maybe gets a little bit more of the strumming sound, like the pick hitting the string, like the little sounds like that, and just smart and interesting production sounds that not just capture the tones, but they capture the texture of the instruments. And, you know, anything from that sort of thing to, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but, you know, juxtapositions of 2 or 3 of those happening rhythmically that can make a satisfying crunch or a pop or a click. You know, there's a really good pinball documentary. I'm sure Chris has seen it. It's called Tilt, the story of pinball. And one of the designers of some of the legendary tables was talking about the importance of texture and sound all coming together in the feel of the gameplay. You know, like when a magnet locks in a ball in place, you can just leave that lock as is and maybe put a little sound, little chime, but they actually would work table mechanisms in there to make like clunks and sounds to sort of lock that in. So you have the visual of the ball swirling in place, getting trapped, and there's a little mechanism thing happening under the board that's like clunk. It's actually making a sound mixed with the music. That's kind of a similar thing. It's not just bells and sirens and music, but actual mechanical noisemakers existing under some of these tables, especially the ones of the 80s and 90s that pull it all together in this sumptuous feast, and it lights your brain up like Christmas, and that's what keeps you playing more. That's what this album does to me, and music like this. I find it kind of addictive, and you look for those little moments that aren't even necessarily musical, but they're more textural. But anywho, it's just a lot of good ear candy, catchy songs, and a little bit of chaos here and there, which I always like, but it never gets too far out of hand or too self-indulgent, and highly worth more attention. So I think it's a great pick. Lyle, why don't we see where you want to go with it?
I enjoyed it. It reminded me of Quentin Tarantino, something he'd throw into his mix.
That's a good association.
And you got to remember,
we can see that. Yeah, it's very cinematic.
You know, I like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I like you know, an album that tells a story, and it tells you in the first song, this is a story. So the only complaint I have it's too short. Or what I'd like.
That's not a bad complaint. Yeah. And you know, in the age of long albums and bonus stuff and 2 sides or whatever, I can kind of appreciate a shortish album, or at least something that leaves you wanting more, because that is kind of rare.
Yeah, like Pink Floyd. God, what was it? It's kind of a scarcity. Nobody even likes. It's not very popular.
The Final Cut.
The Final Cut. It's super short, but
it's short. It's really good though. And
I think you combined the word scarce and rarity just now. You called it a scarcity.
Scarcity.
You think about Pink Floyd, The Wall. Everybody knows.
I love it.
So it's
listen, scarcity. That's a good one.
Well, the Final Cut is basically, it wasn't intended this way, but it sort of works as the third side of The Wall. You know. I think the biggest problem a lot of fans had with it was it ended up sort of being a Roger Waters solo album. And that's what led to all the contentions, and that was the last album with Roger Waters. But it is highly underrated. There's some great shit on Final Cut.
I was going to use that as my thing, but
oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Whatever.
I did totally hijack it.
It's okay.
You retell it in your words.
We might just go raw fucking metal now.
Mm-hmm.
Just thinking about a good one, but I'm not going to say it.
Oh, you mean you were going to use the Final Cut as your...
Yeah, it's cool. It's all right.
Oh, well, you still could. These guys haven't heard it.
Not too late, bro.
John Mark's had it.
Mm.
John Mark.
Honestly,
I'd
that's
be
probably
surprised.
one of them that I haven't really listened to that much.
Even Pink Floyd fans don't know that.
I mean, I've heard of it. I've heard of it, obviously, but yeah,
that's good.
I think you should bring it. I'd be curious to hear. I would love to talk about some Pink Floyd.
Yeah, let's do that.
I've never really gotten into Pink Floyd, but I'd give it a shot for Lyle.
Yeah, next podcast.
You know, Pink Floyd is an interesting band. They have such a huge catalog that there's a little Pink Floyd for everybody. But this is an interesting one.
Well, the thing I love about it is kind of like Jim Morrison, breaking onto the other side. They use their instruments to kind of like pull you outside the outside world, which is, it's difficult to do. I mean, there's a few bands that I know of that can actually do it. You know what I mean? Where you're listening to it and you're getting so pulled out of it, you don't even, what you're listening to, you feel like it's, netherworldly.
I would describe Tool's music as that for sure.
Let's save it. Save it for the thing.
Yeah.
Let's do save that. I hope you bring that. You don't have to. You can change your mind if you want, but I hope you bring that.
I can't.
It's a highly underrated. It's funny to consider like a band the size of Pink Floyd as having an underrated album, but it's absolutely an underrated album.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff, and it tells a story. The whole album's kind of like a story. So
yeah, and timely. It really works with what's going on in the world right now.
All right, we'll bring it.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to that. Any more thoughts, Lyle, before we move on to Chris?
No, we're all good.
Chris, curious to see what you think.
Man, I had a lot of thoughts on this album. So I reached out to John Mark to get the name of it because I had forgotten the name. And he had, I hope you don't mind me sharing this, John Mark. He was like, get, in your special place, if you know what I'm saying. and then listen to it. And I was like, oh, I know what you're saying. Most of the time I am in my special place, so that works out. So I got super stoned, and I put my nice headphones in, and I went for a run, and I queued this album up. And boy, was that a treat. Sometimes I feel like John Mark and I vibe on that weird rhythm section of a band rhythm. Like, you know what I mean? Like, as the drummer and the bass player.
Yeah, things that you're drawn to there.
Yeah, I do. Maybe I'm wrong, but I get that sometimes. And the very first track I kick in, and I'm enjoying like the streets of Bremerton, and it's dark, and that song kicks on, and it sounds like you're playing The Last of Us. It fucking sounds like The Last of Us. The whole song does. It was amazing. So it's got this cool like acoustic and electronica vibe. I don't know. It was fucking cool.
Which track was that?
The very first one. It's the what's it called here? Queenswave.
Queenswave.
Here. I can play like a tiny little piece here. Really drawn out intro. But even with the chirpings in the background, I was like, oh my God, it's the fucking Last of Us. But let's see, I had a bunch of thoughts on this.
I'd like to hear some wind chimes on top of it, though, if you know what I'm saying. Christopher Wood, he loves his wind chime.
I do. I do love a good wind chime or two.
Wind chime.
Let's see. Another thought I had was that, like, eventually this album gets weirder, and I had that same, like, I wanted to be in a weird craft cocktail lounge enjoying this music, but it was like a different feeling than Abbey's selection.
A cocktail bar
like
soundtrack.
This was like you're on some kind of like the end of the night, and you have gone through some shit, and you've had some drugs. Like that's the fucking spot. That's what I was feeling like. I was in the middle of a Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas occasionally.
Yeah.
Like, that was what. And I loved it.
It put you in a movie. This album put you in a movie.
I had a really hard time imagining what this band looked like, what country they may or may not have come from, how many people were in it. Like, I could not every song was so different and
it's mostly
diverse.
just a dude. One dude, isn't it?
There's two guys from Finland, basically.
And then they hire all
compose this stuff, and they have a bunch of friends that record the shit with them.
But you don't know. If you go into this blind, it's really difficult. And it sounds like a full band at times, and other times samples.
Well, it certainly is, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, as I'm trying to listen and imagine what this group of creators is looking like, I had a really hard time with that. And I kind of dug it because it kept me guessing, you know? Like, I didn't know what was happening. Yeah, that versatility went a long way for me. I thought the album was mixed so well. Like, and I know you touched on that, but in my headphones, I could hear every little thing that they did, the nuances, and it was incredible. Like at one point they did like the weird little whistle, like the like flute, and it would like chime in on both sides, but like at different. It was weird. It just was mixed so cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of little things with like what is even making that sound.
Yes,
they have a lot of little ear candy things like that.
That was something else I wanted to add is that you definitely want to listen to this with headphones because of the oscillation.
Yeah.
But it is a great background album too, like at a party. And yeah, I regret, as soon as Chris said that you'd like to see it in the background, I regret never using it at Radar. I should have.
Well, not too late to do something. It's something cool.
Do something.
Save that one for later. There was a lot of things in this that this shit reminded me of stuff that I like, and I know that I love it when we touch on that stuff. So I wanted to this reminded me of this and that and that. So like I got pieces of Thrice at one point. I even sent John Mark a thing. I was like, bro, I think these are like the melodies are the same in these songs. I heard the B-52s at one point, in a weird one. I heard a band called Monster Magnet. I kind of dig at one point. I was like, wow, this is Monster Magnet.
Yeah, they're pretty.
Cool. I love Monster Magnet.
And I had forgotten you had said that one of the tracks was almost Bond theme-esque in nature. And when I got to it, I was like, this is a fucking Bond movie. And then I went back and re-listened to your description, which was very helpful because I forgot some of the things you said or just didn't hear them. And I was like, holy shit, he said that. Maybe it was subconscious, it was in there. But it's a fucking Bond. But again, and I didn't quite understand why the second half of the album got more theatrical in nature because I'd forgotten you said it was basically written based off of 2 science fiction novels or something to that effect.
And some real life legends.
The novels were basically this guy's crazy story that he channeled by some entity about Atlantis,
the Lemurians.
So the whole thing is about like the kind of like the rise and fall of Atlantis, essentially.
Nice.
It's told through the view of this one guy.
That's
who's traveling through time to experience it. It's fucking bizarre.
The last one was like something of the first arc.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There was only one track I couldn't get behind on this album, and I skipped it. Oh, I listened to it the first time all the way through, and I had to skip it it's "Contain Thyself."
Oh,
it's
dude, I fucking love that song.
I'm sorry, but it's you know what it is?
When they're going,
the end is cool. The end, it has a payoff, right? It gets cool at the end. But the problem is that, and this is a personal preference, and I get a lot of shit for this. I don't like Irish sounding music. It grates on my fucking if it sounds like a pirate jig, I can't. No, that's more bardy, right? But shanty, music,
yeah.
I can get it.
It's fair.
I can understand.
It just sounds like a pirate shanty. Right off the bat, you're on the pirate ship, and I'm like, I don't want to be here.
I'm going overboard.
Okay, so that was what I thought of that. I
That's
really
one of my
enjoyed
favorite songs, though. It's fair.
Yeah.
It's a fair critique, but it's I fucking love the end of that song. Gives me chills.
I even sent this to Bridget, and I was like, bro, we gotta play pinball to this. The back, it's just fucking cool mood music, and it's got
good
a
video
good beat.
game music.
Yeah, for sure. Anyways, I wanted to add that with this submission, John Mark, I think I have found something from every single one of you that I've really enjoyed. The first time I had a bit more of a difficult time with the first band, but man, it's been fun doing the music pick club, and I know Lyle still got one pick left here.
Yeah. Well, I've got the. Do you have any more, Chris? Because I've got the listener comments.
Okay.
Pulled up. I think we'll end on that. Didn't get many, but I'm so glad that some of you. I know a lot of you are actually listening to the albums. We would love any little feedback. Doesn't have to be super in-depth. It can be a one-word review. Just give us your feedback. We'd love to hear what you think. And, this is all ultimately about turning people on to new music. And this is one of those albums that, like John Mark said when he first brought it, it's sort of hard to really describe. It's hard to describe it to anybody. But once you listen to it, it's like, this is like it's its own thing. It's like its own traveling weirdo collective doing its own thing. And I love a lot of groups like that. But so Melanie, the aforementioned hand-holding incident, Melanie says, I surprisingly really digged it. This was the first time I decided to listen along with you cool kids, and I'm glad I did. I thoroughly enjoyed the eclectic musical voyage it took me on. I've even made my husband listen to it, and I'm actually listening to it again. Great pick, John Mark. Russ McCaw says, did a listen and thought it was very different from what I expected. I have to say it was kind of easy to listen to as background music while I was driving. I will be giving it another listen probably this weekend as I am going camping, and I will be going on a ride. Yeah, good road tripping album as well. I had my doubts, but it will probably find a place in my playlist. Looking forward to the new show. I think that's great. Two wins in a row. Jacob Roberts says, really enjoyed the album. Not what I expected. It's interesting. That's what I mean. It's like, no matter how, John Mark did a great job of describing it, but you can't know what this album is until you hear it. It's like, it's kind of like, it's not as nearly as schizoid as Captain Beefheart's Trout Mask replica, but you can describe it all you want, and people just have to hear it for themselves. That's one that most people are going to hate.
But it all makes sense. Like, everything comes together to make sense, even though it's like bouncing around like within seconds of each other from genre to genre. It's really weird.
Yeah, it all coexists in its own realm. So appreciate your listener feedback, and please keep that a-coming in future listens. And I guess next week we will launch this. Not a surprise, but I'm really curious to see what Lyle has to say about this. Lyle's the only other person I know who ever talks about this album, and we both talked about it. I feel like we were even listening to this back in high school. Like, and a lot of our friends listened to Pink Floyd. Everyone knew The Wall. Everyone knew Dark Side of the Moon. And you get talking about Animals and maybe Obscured by Clouds and some of those, and then people don't really know. So it's not surprising that people didn't know the final cut. But I feel like even big Pink Floyd fans aren't even aware of this album. And it's the last album with Roger Waters, so it's a very key album. And if you like The Wall, I think you're going to like Final Cut, but maybe not. It certainly didn't do very well from what I remember, but I don't know. We'll let Lyle do the research and bring it, and curious to hear what all you think. Pink Floyd is my favorite band of all time. I don't know if you guys know that.
The beauty of it all is, like, The Wall actually tells a story in it, within. You could even watch the video if you just don't want to hear it. You could, they have The Wall. You could physically watch it, the album, or not the album, but like the video,
the movie.
And this is the similar, similar track. So it tells a story within itself, and it's pretty amazing. Kind of takes,
Yeah, like I said, to me, it always felt like, and I heard it way after I heard few years after I heard The Wall. I probably burned myself out on The Wall. It's one of those albums I listen to over and over and over and over again.
Radio too, kind of.
Yeah, and then I never really need to hear "We Don't Need No Education."
This is by Korn.
Don't really need to hear that again. I mean, I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan. It's a great song, but good Lord, just tired of it. But if all of that album ended, and I think The Wall ends so brilliantly, but if it didn't end, you'd expect it to pick right back up at the final cut. So I'm really happy that that's going to be Lyle's pick. Any old who, let's get on out of here, and we will reboot with all of that next week. And I'll probably, we'll see. I think we might talk about 9/11 next week. We'll see. We'll squeeze that in. A little show I've been wanting to talk about for a while. Other than that, tune in next week, y'all. Have a good week.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go.
Need one of those poop condoms.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Come on, brown colored lube. We're all a little grossed out by it, but it takes care of things in a lot of way.
It's kind of natural.
Sure.
It's exactly what it's not.
Butterscotch, they call that in the industry.
Oh, dear. Too far, John Mark. Come on.
Too crass, John Mark.
Mark's the coarse one.
It would be worse is edible.
Ooh, chocolate pudding. Woo,
oh, my.
You don't want to.
Kisses.
It's only edible pre-use. Well, listen, I don't want to tell you to do shit. And on that beautiful note, good night, Joe.
Goodbye.
Vaginas are magical.